This is KLZ Denver, The Source, AM and FM, AM 560 and 1220, and now on FM 95.3 and 100.7. Online, streaming at 560thesource.com, KLDC Denver, KLDC HD Denver, and KLZ HD Denver. This is the Crawford Broadcasting Company.
For over 33 years, Gino's Auto Service has been Littleton's top shop. Now, for the third year in a row, Gino's has been awarded the Best of Littleton by the City of Littleton. At Gino's, we're members of Colorado Select Auto Care and offer the Napa Nationwide Peace of Mind warranty. We're AAA approved and, for your convenience, offer a fleet of loaner vehicles. We're located at Bowles and Platte Canyon, so stop in or visit us online at ginosautoservice.com. That's Gino's with a J.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it. Our Lady of Blessed Acceleration, don't fail me now.
It's time for Drive Radio, presented by Colorado Select.
Just give a good push on that connector if you would. Push it in.
Whether you need help,
thank you.
Fixing a problem,
I reported that to Amanda, but she's been on vacation, so.
Or just want to learn about all things automotive.
Yeah, I think it's just a solder or something inside there needs touched up, but.
Then you've come to the right place. So start your engines, buckle up, and get ready to ride. Drive Radio start.
We might switch to another pair.
The Source.
Here we go. Stand by. I'm bringing your mics up.
And this is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560. Dorsey Johnson also with me today. We are fired up and ready to go. So any questions you've got when it comes to your car repair, maintenance, you name it, we are here to answer your question. Lines are open 303-477-5600. I want to say a special shout out to Ray Seidel and Dennis Brewster and the guys for filling in for me the last couple of weeks while I was on vacation. I really, really appreciate them doing that.
It was rough.
It's tough, huh?
Yeah.
You got both ears working now? So we got you a good headset?
Yeah, sounds like
All right, good deal. Good deal. So we got both ears working. We're ready to... It helps when you have both ears working, right, Thors?
Well, I'm deaf in one ear, so...
Huh?
All I get is an echo on one side.
Well, we at least got your headset working right. We got his mic up. We're ready to roll. Larry Younger is also on the other side of the glass. Charlie Grimes, our engineer. So anything you guys need, 303-477-5600. Question of the day. School has started. Not for everybody, but for a lot of you. And high school will be firing up here. In fact, some already have. Some will be starting here in the next week or so. What's your favorite car from high school? Now, let me preface this. You have to have some sort of a direct connection to your favorite car. So you can't just say, well, back in high school, I really enjoyed the blah, blah, blah. Well, you have to have a direct connection to this particular car to name it. So it could be a car you owned. Could be a car your friends owned. Could be something that, you just had some special connection to. What your favorite car from high school was or is. 303-477-5600. Again, John Rush, Dorsey Johnson here to answer your questions. While Larry's getting a few calls queued up, Doris, I had this question come in from a listener, Jim. 2012 Corolla. Automatic transmission with lifetime transmission fluid. The car has 65,000 miles on it. Should I get the transmission fluid flushed? And is there a way to flush that transmission? First of all, yes, there is a way to flush the transmission. What would you recommend on a quote-unquote lifetime transmission fluid?
I'd flush it.
That's what I already responded, said
lifetime
Jim, flush
just
it.
Means that when it dies,
it's dead.
It's dead.
Yeah, he's 4 years, almost 5 years into it now. Right. 2017s will be coming out here fairly quickly, and 65,000 miles on it now. Yeah, I would service it.
Yep.
Okay, so there's your answer, Jim. Service that transmission. There's the reason why. Just because it says lifetime doesn't mean that it's a lifetime of the fluid.
Yeah, I've had too many Toyota transmissions that I've seen go out at 100,000.
Does the 2012, just as a curiosity, is that a CVT in 2012? It is now in 2016.
I'm not sure about the Corolla. I don't think so.
Okay, because I know 2016's it's CVT, and actually it was 2014 or 15, so I didn't remember when they did the switch over.
I think it was 14.
Either way, it needs done, regardless. So
Right.
go ahead and service it. Jerry and Greeley, you're first today. What's going on, sir?
Well, I've got a 2002 Ford Ranger with 50,000 miles on it. And Monday night, it wouldn't start, wouldn't crank, wouldn't even click the starter solenoid. The lights were quite bright. The battery seemed fine.
Okay.
I let it sit overnight. Next morning, I plugged in my scanner and had no code stored. But at that point, it started right up, no problems, and it's started probably a dozen times since then, no problems. So I guess I've got an intermittent no crank problem.
How many miles on that, Jerry?
50,000.
Only 50K.
Yeah.
Have you been driving it and then shut it off and went to restart it?
I am. Well, you mean immediately after?
Yeah, was it hot, in
Yeah.
other words?
Yeah.
No. Oh, no. When it wouldn't start, it had been sitting prior.
Yeah, you've probably got an intermittent starter solenoid problem, something along that line.
You're more age on that than you are miles. I mean, you're 14, almost 15 years old now, so it's more of an age factor, Jerry, than it is a mile issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope it's something that simple. This vehicle has what Ford calls the passive anti-theft system.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hope it's not related to that.
If it was, normally your security light would have stayed on after you
Right.
tried to start it and it didn't work.
Is your pass light, is it flashing, doing anything weird when you're trying to start it and it's not cranking?
No, the dash display is normal.
Okay, then I doubt that's the issue. I think Dorsey's right on that.
Yeah, a lot of those later models, the passive anti-theft shut off the injectors anyway instead of the starters.
It would crank, just not fire up.
Okay. Would you have any other likelihoods I might peek at besides the starter
I'd
solenoid?
put a solenoid on it if it were me, just for grins at the age of the
Yeah.
vehicle. In fact, at the age of the vehicle, you might want to do a solenoid and just a starter altogether and just do it.
Okay. Well, that sounds reasonable.
And again, you're not mile highs, mile high. You're not miles high, but your years are getting up there. So I would do it more for the age than anything else.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
You're very welcome, Jerry. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Line open 303-477-5600. Chris, you're up next.
Hello, John. How are you doing today?
Doing great, sir. Thanks for calling us.
I believe it's either an 02 or an 06 Grand Caravan, and the turn signal broke. I mean, the whole thing. Does Napa carry that whole assembly that you put back in because it controls the windshield wipers, the high beams,
multi-function switch.
Right.
Yeah, they carry those.
But what am I looking at for one of them?
They can get spendy because all the stuff that's in there with them. You might spend a couple $100 for one of those.
Would it be better to go to pick apart?
I'd rather see you put a new one in.
Yeah, for the amount of labor it takes, buy a new one.
Yeah.
Nothing against the recyclers. I mean, they've got some really great parts, but that's one of those parts that here's where I would say, if you're going to take that car, flip it, sell it, turn it, you're trying to get it done as cheaply as possible, sure, go to a recycle, place, buy a part, throw in it, sell the car, and off you go. If you're going to keep the car and drive it for any length of time at all, put a new switch in it.
All righty. And Napa does carry that?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
And it'll be cheaper than what they have at the dealer, and in a lot of cases, probably the same part.
Yeah.
No, not exaggerating there at all.
Well, like I said, it's an old car. It's got I think 168 on it, 168,000.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to keep it for a while still, Chris?
It's on its last legs, really, to tell you the truth.
Well,
I mean, I'm just limping it along right now for a vehicle to get me going. I was the one with the 06 Kia with the warped head. I ended up selling that.
Okay. Well, and again, if you got to look at the vehicle, the age, how long you're going to keep driving it, and again, the recyclers. We're actually looking at potentially bringing a recycler on as a sponsor. So I've got nothing against the recyclers, and they fit. They fill a purpose when needed. In this case, if you think you've only got a year, 18 months, something like that left on the car, you could easily do a recycled part and throw in it if you don't think you're going to get that much more life out of the car. Save some money.
how difficult is that to replace?
You know, that one, with all the electronics that switch has on it, that could take you a couple hours.
I was going to say it's a chore.
Yeah.
It's a chore.
I mean, well, and let me just say this too, to anybody listening. There are very few multifunction / turn signal switches that are not hard to install. In other words, they typically require some special tools, some special knowledge of what's going on inside of there. I have over the years had vehicles get towed in with everything all apart because somebody at home tried to do that themselves, and you end up with this basket of parts trying to get it all back together because somebody just got in over their head. So it's not that it's the hardest job out there. You just have to know what you're doing.
All right. What would it cost you? What are you guys doing for me?
Well, you could easily spend a couple $100 on labor on that.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about that, that's 2 hours labor. So any more labor is around $100 an hour, pretty much anywhere you go, Chris. So yeah, if it's a couple hours labor, you're a couple $100 pretty easily.
So I'm looking at $400 all day, right?
Probably.
All right. Well, I thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Chris. We appreciate it. No, thanks so much for the phone call. And guys, there's a little bit of a lesson there. Again, I go back to the recycled part side of the fence. If you got a vehicle where you're just kind of limping it along, you don't know how much longer you're going to be able to drive the car. I've got nothing against somebody buying a recycled part and putting it on a vehicle. You just have to make sure that you understand full well going into it that you're buying something somebody else has already had X amount of life used up in that particular part.
Yeah, occasionally in the right situation, we'll do a recycled part, and we get them through Napa. They've got a better source to pull up a screen full of parts, and they can tell you where they're at, and they'll bring them in.
Yep, exactly. Let's go to Greg in Centennial. We have lines open, 303-477-5600. Greg, what's going on, sir?
Good morning, gentlemen. I enjoy your show.
Thank you.
Say, I've got a 91 Chevy full-size pickup. It's got a 305 8-cylinder throttle body injection.
Okay.
It only has 88,000 on it. But the issue I'm having now is when the engine's cold and I start it, like first thing in the morning, it'll crank for 3 to 5 seconds, which is longer than it used to be. And then once it starts, the RPMs will drop dramatically, almost to the point where it will stall if I don't keep my feet on the gas. And then it'll run rough for a while, and then when I take off and drive it around the neighborhood, it'll run a little bit rough, and then eventually it'll smooth out, and then it'll run all right after that. And I'm kind of wondering if you had any ideas as to what might be causing this.
Sounds like you got a cold start vacuum leak.
Cold start vacuum leak?
Yeah, and on those, it's usually the gasket under the TBI.
Throttle body gasket.
Yeah, and the other thing those had trouble with is the idle air control motor, too. So with the age and everything of it, I'd probably take the TBI off and put a kit in it.
Put a gasket under it.
New gasket and a new eye axle.
They had trouble with those gaskets anyways, Greg. So some of those vehicles, even when they were 4 or 5 years old, would have a gasket go bad. So yours now being, let's see, what is that vehicle now? 15 years old, roughly.
Probably deteriorated.
Yeah. Actually, you're older than that. You're 20, you're 24, 25 years old now?
Yeah, it's a 91.
Yeah, there you go.
25.
Yeah, 25. I mean, it's and to Dorsey's point, it's one of those things with the mileage, especially on the vehicle being low, I'd put a gasket in it just for maintenance as much as anything. And it could very well fix the problem.
So I'd have to pull the throttle body off.
Yep.
There's I think bolts holding it on.
Got to take the lines off first.
Yeah.
Take your fuel lines off, and by the way, make sure that make your keys off. No chance of that coming on to squirt fuel out. You'll have to relieve the pressure that's in the system, and then pull the lines and pull the throttle body off and put a gasket on it and reverse that going back together.
Yeah. So I got to disconnect the gas line.
Yes, that's right.
And that's just a really good time to at least spray that throttle body all out and spray the IAC out and get it all good and clean.
Well, I did replace the idle air control valve.
Okay.
That didn't seem to help much.
Yeah, so then you're most likely looking at a vacuum leak. Yep.
Okay, well that's good to know. The other thing that's happening occasionally is when it's warmed up, then I'll shut it off, and then I'll start it again. It doesn't want to start, like it's, I don't know, maybe it's vapor lock or it's not getting sufficient fuel, but it's only occasionally, but it's hard to start at times when it's warmed up.
Better check fuel pressure on that also.
Yeah. You should have around 15 to 16 pounds of pressure.
And those are, how do I want to say this? Those are this type of systems where just a 1 or 2 pound drop will affect its warm startability.
Oh, okay. So that would be a weak fuel pump then?
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have a couple of problems going on.
Yeah.
I would still, with the age of the vehicle, do a throttle body gasket anyways, just to get that taken care of and out of the way, and then do a pressure test of the fuel pump itself and see how much pressure is there. Again, you're 26 years old on a pump. Frankly, it's almost a maintenance item. I shouldn't say almost. It's a maintenance item at this point.
Right. And the fuel pump's in the gas tank.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Got to drop that in, inside the frame rail. You got to do one or two ways. Either you take the bed off and get it from the top down, or you drop the tank and do it inside the tank once it's down off the truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a toss up. If your bed bolts aren't super rusted in, you could actually, undo the wires going back to the taillights and take the 4 bolts that are there to hold the bed down and unscrew it and lift it back and get it slid back enough to actually work on the top of the tank. Just depends on what tools and equipment and ability you have.
Right. Well, I'll try the throttle body gasket first. That's something I can do easily.
That one's not too bad.
And if I gotta mess around with the fuel pump, I'd probably prefer not to do that myself.
Okay.
But I could have it pressure tested.
You sure can. Yes.
At a shop, right?
Yep. That would be the way to do it first. Before you just put one in and have somebody test it.
Yeah, that's a pretty simple test.
It is.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, on that one, it's a steel fuel line that we have to tap into. Other than that, it's fairly
not
simple.
Bad.
All right. Well, this is good information.
All right, Greg. Appreciate it. No, thank you very much for the phone call. We got lines open 303-477-5600. No answers yet. What was your favorite car from high school? Now, you got to have a direct connection to that car. Either you owned it, friend owned it, parents owned it, something along those lines. What was your favorite car from high school? 303-477-5600. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Drive Radio. John Rush, Dorsey Johnson. We'll be right back here on KLZ 560.
Napa know-how.
Smartphone speakers. They're about as effective as chopping firewood with a butter knife. A rusty, dull butter knife. So pick up a wireless Bluetooth speaker at Napa for just $26.99. With a rechargeable battery, 33-foot range, and rugged waterproof case. It does the one thing your phone is terrible at. Play music. The Napa Bluetooth speaker. Now just $26.99. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 8/31/16.
When you've been in a fender bender or accident, you need to get your car repaired quickly by top-notch experts that know your car. Don't mess around with the cumbersome national auto body chains where you have no idea as to who is working on your car. Denver Collision Experts is a locally owned auto collision repair facility that will give you that personal touch you deserve. They'll help you in dealing with your insurance company and get you back on the road quickly without skimping on quality. Denver Collision Experts are Denver's experts in auto body repair. Call Denver Collision Experts today at 303-761-0955, 303-761-0955, or check them out at denvercollision.com. Be sure to tell them Drive Radio sent you.
Top auto manufacturers admit that today's high-tech engines on average can use a quart of oil every 1,000 miles. Why? To meet the government's fuel economy mandates, they use the faster-moving, low-tension piston rings that can clog quickly, reducing power, causing poor fuel economy. The Performance Oil Service from BG Products cleans piston rings and restores the fuel system. And it's backed up with lifetime protection for the engine. Ask your service advisor about the BG Performance Oil Service or go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
Hi, everyone. I am Carla Muir, and I am so excited to tell you about the most amazing weight loss diet ever. Dr. Julie's HCG diet has changed my life forever. I have lost 22 pounds in only 31 days. I feel great, and I have more energy. It was mentally challenging, but physically easy. All I had to do was pick one fruit, one veggie, and one lean meat for every meal. Dr. Julie's special drops kept me from feeling hungry, and the drops targeted only my bad fat. The most amazing part is that I have kept the weight off. It was effective and the easiest weight plan that I have ever tried. Contact Julie right now at Ascent Health Center at 303-343-8800.
When you work on your car, take a look around. You find yourself in a tiny garage, tripping over your tools, or in that grease spot under a carport at your apartment, or someplace even worse. You've busted your knuckles on the chassis too many times because you can't stop daydreaming about a place with a big garage where you can keep your ride and your tools out of the elements. Call
Rebecca 30.
Alliance. Tom is a Colorado native with 17 years experience in assisting his clients as they move on to the next stages of their lives. Tom Witzel and his team of real estate professionals are highly experienced with the business and emotional challenges involved in buying and selling real estate. In other words, Tom Witzel isn't in the house selling business. He's in the business of helping people. Call Tom Witzel at 303-808-2206. 303-808-2206 so he can do what he does best and get you into the house and the garage that you can be proud to call home.
And this is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560, as well as 95.3 and 100.7 FM. And don't forget, you can listen to us online, stream us live at 560thesource.com, or find us on the TuneIn app. You can also send us an email, and I would encourage you to do that, especially if it is Sunday morning now, which it isn't. It's Saturday morning that we're live on air, but a lot of folks listen on Sundays. If it's Sunday, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate your feedback. You cannot call in. I guess you can, but there won't be anybody here to actually answer the phone, but you can sure send us an email. Go to drive-radio.com or send me one directly at John at drive-radio.com, and we'll get that answer. So Doris and I were just talking through the break too. So for some of you out there that are a lot of do-it-yourselfers that listen to this program, which we appreciate very much. But one thing that I will tell you is, if you go to YouTube and watch a video on how to do anything, car repair or even something around the house, just keep in mind that YouTube has the ability, or the guy that did the video has the ability, to cut and edit and scrunch down a video to make a 12-hour job or a 6-hour job look like it takes place in about 15 minutes. Just remember that they cut out all the aggravation.
Mm-hmm.
Special tools, things along those lines. Now, some of the better videos that are done, they will lay out all the tools, tell you what you need, and if you don't have this, that, or the other, don't even start the job. Some aren't that forthright. And you'll get halfway into the job and realize, ooh, I need this $300 special tool, or I'm not going to get this job done.
Yep.
So be careful with what you watch on YouTube. There's some great resources out there, but in some cases, let's just say this, they will not give you the direct answer of what you need to actually get the vehicle repaired. There's some great step-by-step videos on some things, but just be careful because, again, in a lot of cases, even home repairs, I've noticed this even for things around the house. You'll watch it and think, oh, this is pretty simple. And you get into it and you think, this is a nightmare. This isn't simple. So just be careful. Food for thought.
Yeah. Yeah, we see a lot of that where stuff's torn apart and half torn apart when it comes in and it got too hard.
And then it gets to be way more expensive when it's all said and done than if you would have just dropped it off to begin with.
Yeah.
Bill, you're next. What's going on today, sir?
Hey, how's it going? Hey, favorite car actually was a little bit after high school. Is I had a brand new Datsun 510.
Okay.
I wish I had one now, except the body never didn't hold up.
Bodies weren't great, were they?
I came out here and it put 65,000 miles on it in a year and a half. Never rotated the tires, and then went back to New York for a couple of months, and the salt in the air just attacked it, and rusted up like crazy.
Yep.
But that was a great car I had. My mom worked for Michelin, so she got free tires.
Oh, right on.
I had a set of Michelin X's on there. Never rotated them once in 65,000 miles.
Wow. That's saying a lot.
When I went back to New York, I went to get the car washed, and the steel belts were sticking out. Well, that took care of them. It blew them out.
Yeah.
Hey, my question is on the air conditioning stuff.
Yes.
They come from I'm talking. This is a '94 Chevy pickup truck. They could come with a Schrader valve in there, don't they?
Yes.
Because mine disappeared. I don't remember anybody servicing. Because now I'm trying to get it done now. And
so systems with no valve in it, the system would be open.
Well, there was a cap on it.
Okay.
And I don't know if somebody, because I had a knocking in the mixing door, and I don't know if those particular guys got into it thinking there was some air or something in there. But it's no fun with no air conditioning, you know.
So is the system empty at this point?
It is, because I had it charged from a guy I know, and he said to get a cap for it.
Okay.
Well, I didn't realize there was no Schrader valve in there, so I took what was on it. There was a plastic type cap on it.
Right.
And I blew everything out.
Mm-hmm.
So now I got to get it charged up.
Yeah,
again.
you have to have it evacuated too. So you'll need to get it evacuated. Of course, get the valve back in, get it evacuated and recharged. And I believe 94 is R12.
Whatever, and that may have been from original. I don't remember anybody.
It would have had a valve in it.
What's that?
It would have had a Schrader valve in it.
No, I'm sure there was. I like I said, I don't know who took it out.
Yeah, or why even? I don't know why you'd even take it out. You don't need to.
Well, you're asking me the question that I can't answer on that.
Yeah,
one.
no, I agree.
You know, so I mean, and it's tough driving around without air.
Oh man, it is. You're right about that. Especially as we get older, it gets really hard. I'm one that, man, I want AC. You know, if it's above 70 degrees, I want AC.
Well, I won't buy it. Well, I don't even think they make them without it. Like I said, when I came out here in '72,
is that an R134 system or 12?
I don't know.
Because an
it was in a green bottle
R134
with the guy used. There was
has a different fitting on it.
Yeah. On the R134 system, there are some ports that do not have a Schrader valve.
Yeah, they got a quick disconnect.
Got a
deal
little
on 'em.
rubber ball in there.
Right there, a quick disconnect.
And they'll blow all the refrigerant out of
So does
rubber
this-
balls disturbed.
Does this look like it's got an actual small cap, like a valve stem cap, like you'd have on your tire?
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
And it's R12.
It's going to be 12
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. Okay.
But, you know, talking about air conditioning, back in, I'm collecting Social Security. That's how old I am. But back when I first started driving, because in New York I was 18 years old, the cars, no cars came with air conditioning.
Very few did.
When I came out here in '73, I lived up in Greeley. We weren't used to 95-degree days back in New York. I mean, it got to be 80 degrees with humidity.
Right.
So we tried frying an egg on the street. The dogs licked it up.
Yeah, I was going to say, it didn't work out. If you're in Phoenix and it's 120, you might be able to do that. But yeah, we don't get that hot here.
So,
anyways, good stuff, Bill. Yeah, and that's one of those things too that you can actually drop that by, have somebody take a peek at that and see what's going on. Your point, Dorsey, about R12 versus R134, great analogy, because I forgot the R134s had a clip-on style, well, almost like an air fitting.
Yeah.
Where you'd slide it back, stick it on, and it would make a connection, and away you'd go.
Yeah.
But that's probably R12 in his case. All right, let's do this. Larry's got a guy that he's getting queued up right now. While he's on the phone doing that, we've got one line open, 303-477-5600. Good time for a break. We'll be right back. John Rush, Dorsey Johnson. We'll be right back here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Extreme Auto Repair in Parker, they only fix what's broken. Other shops will sometimes try to intimidate you into expensive repairs you don't really need. Instead of taking the time to find out what's really wrong, they'll work to persuade you that you need to replace major parts, costing you more money. Dennis Brewster, owner of Extreme Auto, believes in working with the customer to help your car last as long as it can. If there's something wrong with your head gasket, they won't replace the whole motor. You'll never have to wonder if you're being charged for unnecessary repairs, because at Extreme Auto, They'll make sure you understand exactly what's wrong with your vehicle. They can even show you the old parts so you can see for yourself what the problem was. They want to win you over for the future, not overcharge you for repairs you don't need. Call Extreme Auto today and get the straight story on what your car needs. 303-841-1071. That's 303-841-1071.
At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we believe that all pets deserve to have a good life. And because we know that your pet will have many different needs throughout its life, we offer complete pet care services every day, all at one location. Whether your furry friend needs a checkup, advanced medical care, surgery, boarding, grooming, obedience training, food, care products, or toys, we are here for your pet 7 days a week. At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we know that you want the very best for your pet, which is why you can count on us to provide top-notch care in everything we do. We are certified with the highest rankings by the American Animal Hospital Association and hold a gold star rating with the Better Business Bureau. You and your pet can visit us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are located at 8681 East Lincoln Avenue in Lone Tree. Learn more about us by visiting our website at lonetreevet.com or just give us a call at 303-708-8050.
Napa know-how.
Not all store brands are created equal. For example, when you buy Napa brand synthetic motor oil for $2.99 a quart, you're getting a quality product for a great price. Unlike buying store brand ketchup, good price, but with a funky kind of aftertaste. So pick up Napa full synthetic motor oil now for $2.99 a quart. The taste your car will love. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 8/31/16.
Life is full of enjoyable moments, such as getting a root canal, paying taxes, your kids playing their recorder, dinner with the in-laws, and buying a car. I'm just messing with you. Those things are absolutely horrible. But with the help of Mike Lather and JFR and Associates, they might actually make purchasing a new vehicle, well, enjoyable. Tell them what you're looking for, and they'll set out and find what fits your parameters, handle the negotiating, gather history reports, and even arrange financing. Before you know it, you're behind the wheel of your new car. Take hunting for a new vehicle off of your to-do list and give it to Mike Lather with JFR and Associates. Give him a ring at 720-266-4941, 720-266-4941. Tell Mike that you heard about him on Drive Radio and get back to enjoying your kids' wonderful impromptu recorder concert.
In a flash, from out of nowhere, your whole life can change forever. It happened so quickly, nobody saw it coming. Soon the medical bills will be arriving.
Will insurance cover your injuries? Does the other driver have assets? Should I sue?
It was his fault after all. After an accident, you need to call the law offices of Flesh Law. Flesh Law will never settle until you are fully compensated for your injuries.
Call 303-806-8886 for the Flesh Law Firm. 303-806-8886. Online, go to fleshlawfirm.com.
Flesh Law, the trial-tested, trial-ready attorneys.
This is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560. Dorsey Johnson also with us. And we have got Stuart in Littleton who's up next. Stuart, welcome. What's going on today, sir?
Hey, good morning, John and Dorsey. Hope you guys are doing well.
We're doing great. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. On September 10, the Lincoln and Continental Owners Club will be having their Western Regional meetup at
we will be there.
Westminster. Pardon?
We will be there.
Oh, you're going to do that? Great.
We will be. Yep, already wonderful. Been in contact with, Harry
Edwards?
Yes, already been in contact. He's already got us dialed in. I got to get with him this next week on, kind of getting everything all final and all of that. But, Mike is actually the fellow that I'm talking to. So Mike's getting us all dialed in.
Okay, cool. Well, in conjunction with that, just for information purposes, then it won't just be Lincolns. Any car, anybody from any car club.
Okay, I did not know that. I knew it was a National Lincoln, a show, but I didn't know that anybody else could show also. Good to know that.
Right, and there's no charge for those guys that want to show other cars other than Lincoln's, and they can give a free will offering or a donation to St. Jude, and all funds go to St. Jude's Research Hospital.
Awesome.
So,
Okay, good to know. We're as a part of Paul Leuenberger, our insurance guy here from Chrome Insurance. He's the one that sort of got us all dialed in on that. He's going to be up there. It'll be a great day. Looking forward to it.
great. Well, glad to have you up there, and you guys have a great afternoon. I
You
love
bet.
listening to
Appreciate
the
it,
show.
Stuart. No, thank you very much. We will be there. That'll be September 10th. Speaking of remotes, we will be live next week out at Extreme Auto Repair. So that's out at 10274 South Dransfeld Road in Parker. So we will be there. Got a great car show. I think we've already got, just on our end, not counting what Dennis has done on his own, about 40 to 50 cars already coming out as a part of Drive Radio and Rush to Reason. So we'll be there. Damn, you are my cohort during the week's going to be there. We'll have several of our sponsors will be out there. It's just going to be a lot of fun. I would encourage you next week, if you're out and about, stop in and see us again. That'll be out in the Parker area. Another great event going on today, real quick, is also up at Phoenix Weaponry. Now, Phoenix Weaponry is actually one of our sponsors. Great guys. They are doing an event up there along with Sportsman of Colorado, and I believe that runs all day. I want to say all day long today. It's up in Longmont, right off of, I believe, 119 and I-25. So 1822 Skyway Drive is the address. You can call them if you want more information, 720-340-2496. Scott will call us a little bit later and let us know exactly what's going on, but I know Aaron and the guys are up there. They'll be having a great time today, and we will have another remote next week out at Extreme Auto Repair in Parker. Let's go to David, who is up next. David, welcome.
Yes, you had mentioned in the past somewhere, possibly a website to get service manual and key fobs, and I was curious, well, they'd be different, but do you have those offhand?
Are you looking for, because there's two different ways to do the repair manual side of the fence. Mitchell One, which is one of the companies that a lot of us use in the industry to get our repair information from, they have a consumer side of the site where you can pay a certain amount of money per day or a subscription, if you would, on your particular vehicle, and it's all right there online. Just Google up Mitchell One and you'll find it. You can also now go to most OEM websites also and actually pay a subscription fee. Typically, it's a 2 to 3 day subscription fee. It'll be a little more money than what you're getting out of Mitchell One. A little bit different as far as how you use it, and in some cases, a little more. You've got to be a little bit more familiar with the sites to know how to use them. So my suggestion would be go to Mitchell One to start with, and if you can get what you need there, start there. Otherwise, you can go to an actual OEM website and use that also.
Okay, and then would they also like provide a way to actually just possibly get a book, like one of those where they Haynes or whatever those
are getting tougher and tougher to come by.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, okay, because I kind of wanted that, but all
yeah,
right.
they are getting more and more hard to come by. The Mitchell One site for you as a do-it-yourselfer, it's eautorepair.net. They've got a 1 month, $16.99, a 1 year for $25 or $26, and a 4-year deal for $40.
That's great. Okay, great.
Now, and honestly, that will have twice the information your typical Chilton's or Haynes manual will have.
Oh, okay.
So honestly, that's your best bet anyways. And once you have a subscription, if you need to print off a wiring diagram or some sort of a service bulletin, anything along those lines, you'll be able to do that also.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then the key fob, do you have a spot for that?
Do you remember those, Dorsey? You're the one that knows that better than I.
Yeah, I vaguely remember them, but I don't remember the name of the company.
I can find it for you potentially here real quick. I got to go off the top of my head on this one because it's not easy.
Okay.
There is a particular company out there that sells fobs. Now, I will tell you this. Amazon has gotten big into that market where you used to have to go to a specific website to find the key fob you need. The majority of what you need now can be found right on Amazon.com.
Okay, great. I'll try that as well. All right.
Okay.
And then one last one, if I could.
Sure.
All right. I was going to do a tune-up, and then you kind of mentioned, you can upgrade certain things, but you always seem to stress keeping with what came with the car as far as like spark plugs, and I was just curious why that would be, like why couldn't upgrade to like they have that like E3 or just some other better spark plug. Why would you recommend that you keep exactly what would go with the car?
Because the way that the system was originally designed, the programming, the mapping that's inside of the computer system itself, the voltage that the system was designed for, they, as a manufacturer, came up with a spark plug that fit that particular criteria. And when that particular manufacturer, say it's a Ford and it was Autolite, when they came up with all the specs for that spark plug, they did it right according to what the manufacturer wanted. Nothing, and what happens is if you vary from that, you can end up with drivability problems, hot start problems, check engine light comes on, things along those lines when you get away from that original factory plug.
Okay, great. I was just curious. I will stick with it, and just curious.
Yeah. So if it came with on some of the Chrysler products, for example, they'll have Champions in them. Okay, you want to go back to a Champion plug of that specific heat range. I mean, that exact spark plug is what you put back in it.
Okay, great. I will do that then. Thanks for the info.
You're very welcome, David. Thanks. No, thanks so much for calling. We appreciate it. Dorsey, do you have a better explanation on that than I just gave as to why you use the original plug?
Well, yeah, it's all based on drivability and the way the plug fires and that kind of stuff.
And I go back to the way it was designed originally when that manufacturer spec'd out that spark plug and that aftermarket, we say aftermarket company because aftermarket companies are OEM suppliers also. So Champion, for example, in the case of a Chrysler, when Champion designs that spark plug to all of that criteria that Chrysler says, hey, we need X, Y, and Z, they build the plug for that. You go to an Autolite or an AC Delco or some of the really high-end, double platinum plugs and so on, it can change resistance and other things in the system that just throws it off.
The big thing is resistance built into the plug.
And it just changes it.
And like with Chrysler, they love their copper core plugs. They're still doing copper core, and they want them out every 35,000 miles.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So you just do that.
Yeah.
And what we've learned in the industry is when you vary from that, in fact, we've had vehicles come in the past where they had drivability issues, and one of the first things a technician does nowadays is you look to see if they have the right spark plugs in it. Because sometimes that can be enough to just create all the problems that you've got going on.
Yeah, and back to Chrysler again, the wrong plugs, they're so sensitive to plugs that they'll misfire at idle and hard start cold and
all right,
all
Dave,
kinds of stuff.
Dave, you're up next on the road. What's going on, sir?
I've got a Lexus 2004 GS430. I'm having problems with pulsating brakes, and I recently replaced the rotors and calipers, and within 3,000 miles, I'm getting pulsating brakes again. I was wondering if there's any thoughts you guys might have on something else that I can look at besides brakes and rotors and calipers.
Who did the work?
An independent mechanic.
Okay. One of the things that you need to be careful of on those when you actually do the brake work itself is, of course, making sure that everything gets lubricated very well. So all of your caliper slides, back of the pads, all of that needs to be, be sure that all that's good and clean and lubricated well.
Derust it really well.
You derust the face of the hub, so when the rotor slides on, everything is nice and true, so that there's nothing that's not true there. And then the other thing that can be a factor, not on all vehicles, but on some vehicles, depending upon the wheel that you have, the way they actually install the wheel and torque it down can actually have an effect on the rotor and how true it stays.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll have to check that out.
What year did you say that car was?
It's a 2004 Lexus GS.
So it's probably got four-wheel disc.
Yes.
And you just worked on the fronts?
Yes.
The rears could cause a pulsation in the pedal on that too.
I was told that they checked the rears and they were good. So
the way you could check that on your own, Dave, would be to slightly apply the emergency brake. So get off on a side road. Don't do this while you're going down a highway, of course, but on a side road, you could lightly apply the emergency brake while you're going down the road and see if you feel the same pulsation. If you do, you know it's coming from the rear, not the front.
Okay, good idea.
Okay, and that would tell you whether it is. Now, if you get no pulsation, you know for a fact then it's coming out of the front, and then you need to go back through everything we just mentioned. Those were a little bit under braked. I will just tell you that right on the front side. That particular vehicle did not have enough brakes from the get-go. similar to the Toyota Sequoias. They were the same way. They just they did not have enough brake on them.
Yeah.
And it's critical to use good, high quality rotors with, and I really like the Adaptive One brake pads that Napa sells as the brake pad of choice for that vehicle. So if you're not using that pad, I would make sure you're using a very high quality rotor, not some Chinese imported rotor.
Yeah, I would go to a polymer rotor on that.
Okay.
Those are critical because, again, that vehicle, and I love Toyota and Lexus. I think they've done a great job building cars. But that particular, in that vintage of, in that era, I should say, they had brake problems on those vehicles. They weren't braked heavy enough. GM had the same problem, by the way. It wasn't just a Toyota problem.
So the rotor wasn't big enough?
The whole brake system itself wasn't big enough for the car.
Okay. Okay, any other thoughts?
No, I think if you do all of that, like Dorsey's saying, use a high-end rotor, a polymer rotor on it, use a good quality brake pad on it, make sure everything is good and clean, the slides are lubricated well, calipers are working and in good shape. What's happening is the pulsation comes from hot spots, and or they get the rotors installed with a piece of rust or something underneath them where they're not trued up to begin with when they're installed. That can also create those hot spots.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And by the way, you can look to see if it's got hot spots on your own. Just take a flashlight, shine it through the wheel, look at the rotor. If you see blue spots in the rotor, those are the hot spots. That's where your pulsation's coming from.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Some rotors are not true right out of the box. Occasionally, you'll get a bad one.
The other thing that can happen, and it's critical as the parts stores actually stack those rotors, if they get a bunch of them, stacked on top of one another, the ones at the bottom can actually damage what we call the hat on the rotor, and you can get some pulsation out of that also.
Huh. Okay.
Okay. Makes sense?
Good. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Dave. Appreciate that very much. Let's do this. James, hang tight. We'll come right back, talk about your AC problem. 2 lines open, 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. James, hang tight. We'll be right back. This is Drive Radio. John Rush, Dorsey Johnson, KLZ 560.
You love your Triumph sports car, but since Triumph went out of business in 1981, it has become difficult to find anyone who knows anything about these classic cars. For over 3 decades, the Rocky Mountain Triumph Club has been helping Triumph owners enjoy keeping their cars running smooth and on the road. The Rocky Mountain Triumph Club's great newsletter is packed with resources, including a schedule of driving events, car shows, and social events, along with a listing of tech advisors for help repairing or restoring your Triumph. For information about how to become a Rocky Mountain Triumph Club member, visit the award-winning website at RockyMountainTR.org or come to a dinner meeting every 3rd Tuesday in Denver. Connect with the Rocky Mountain Triumph Club today so you and your Triumph can stay on the road.
The new gasoline direct injection engines, also known as GDI, are the hottest new improvement to horsepower and fuel efficiency in this century. Service professionals agree that GDI's unique power requires unique GDI maintenance. BG Products has the most current and effective GDI maintenance available in over 20,000 shops, and they back it up with a lifetime BG protection plan. Go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com. If you have a GDI engine and you want it to last, remember 2 more letters. BG.
This is Red Merrill for Phoenix Weaponry. Phoenix Weaponry is a weapon manufacturer that services the firearm enthusiast. From precision ARs to suppressors, Phoenix Weaponry can make your dreams come true. Phoenix Weaponry is a full-service gun shop that offers gunsmithing, coating, and modifications to your own weapon. Phoenix Weaponry, family-owned and operated right here in Colorado. If you can dream it, Phoenix Weaponry can build it. Call today, 720-340-2496. Again, that's 720-340-2496. Or visit their website, phoenixweaponry.com. Mention Sportsman of Colorado and receive 10% off your custom-built weapon.
Napa know-how.
In 3rd grade, there's one way to protect yourself. Karate. But now that you're mostly grown up, pick up a dash cam at Napa for just $39.99. With 8 gigs of storage, a wide-angle lens, and loop recording, it's everything you need to protect yourself on the road. The Napa dash cam for $39.99. It's no flying mantis neck kick, but just as effective. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 8/31/16.
Like cars, relationships require regular maintenance, romantic date nights, family bike rides, dinner with the in-laws. Why should your relationship with your car be any different? Give your vehicle a well-deserved night out at the 88 Drive-In in Commerce City.
Admission includes all 3 features, and kids under 12 are free. The 88 Drive-In is open every night of the week, starting at 6 p.m. Friday and Saturday, and 7 p.m. Sunday through Thursday.
Take time to nurture all those special relationships in your life by visiting the 88 Drive-In tonight.
I didn't hardly ever stop.
All right, here we go. We ready? Oh, I got to do my... Is this 88 Drive-In? Well, Charlie, I messed up. So what happens when you're gone for a couple of weeks, folks? You forget about the 88 Drive-In and the movies that are out there. So movies are great. 88 Drive-In is the place to see them. And Secret Life of Pets, Suicide Squad, Star Trek Beyond, and don't forget about their pizza special, which runs Monday through Friday. You get 2 16-ounce sodas two 16-ounce free sodas with your pizza. And they're sweetening the deal by also giving you ice cream, all for $12. Pretty good deal. So this old analogy of you go to the concession stand and it costs you a lot of money, not at the 88 Drive-In. So 88drivein.com. When you go out there, tell them John Rush and Dorsey Johnson from Drive Radio sent you. And here we go. No, we don't have any intro music when we do it that way, do we, Charlie? It's just we just start rolling along and off we go. All right, let's do this. James in Denver is up next. James, welcome. What's going on, sir?
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I have a 2003 Ford Taurus with 56,000 miles on it, and the air conditioner still blows out cold air.
Good.
And in the 13 years I've had it, the air conditioner has never been touched. Nothing's ever been done to it. No Freon or nothing. I was wondering, is there any kind of periodic maintenance that should be done to a air conditioning system?
Nada.
No. About the only thing that is kind of in the area is change your cabin filter.
Yeah, I mean,
if
I should say no maintenance. I mean, cabin air filter, make sure the front of the condenser up front where the radiator, make sure it's not full of bugs and, cottonwood, remnants and things like that.
Cotton are a big deal this year.
Exactly, because the cottonwoods have been terrible. I mean, those are the sorts of things you can do. But as far as internal, Freon maintenance, things along that line, James, no. If it's working and blowing cold, it's sort of one of those things where if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's good to know then.
Yep. No, if it's blowing cold air, off you go. James, appreciate the phone call. And Dorsey, sort of a reminder of those old R12 systems, when they worked and they were sealed up, they last. They work pretty well. Now, why did we have to switch from that? You'd have to ask somebody that's at a higher pay grade than me.
So we could buy a new machine to work on them.
And everything else that goes along with it. And now we're doing it again with, 1234YF.
Yep.
Now, I said this the other day in a car review, which, by the way, you can look at all of our car reviews by going to youtube.com/drive radio. They're all there. You can also go to our website, drive-radio.com, and find all of our car reviews there. Drove a Dodge Durango here recently that I would encourage you to go check out the review on. I'll go to that in just 1 second. But before I do that, Dorsey, one thing I've noticed is, and I don't think I'm wrong in this, it seems to me that these newer vehicles now, last couple of years, they've been running the YF, the 1234YF.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to me that I have to run the fan speed higher and the temperature colder to feel as comfortable in it as I used to with R134.
And R134 was kind of like that.
The same way before R12, right? So it's not just me.
No.
I am correct in my analogy.
And it's condensation. They have to condense gases in a different way. So like with 134, they put in a bigger evaporator, a bigger condenser, bigger accumulator to compensate for having less fluid.
Okay.
So that costs you money, but it takes...
Okay, so then what, are they doing the same thing now with YF? Does it have different internal components also?
Bigger sizes again.
So even bigger than before.
Right.
So why the change from 134 to what we have now?
Well, they say they figured out that 134 is not working the way they thought it would. It's still...
Wait a minute. Oh, time out. Our government made a mistake?
Yeah,
is that what you're trying to say, Dorsey? No, come on.
So it doesn't break down as fast as they thought. It sits on the ground longer, more ground level ozone. It's just doing the opposite kind of what they thought it would do.
So we should have just stayed with R12.
I think so.
I didn't say that. Dorsey did. Dorsey said that. I didn't say that. Larry's in there laughing at us because he knows exactly what we're talking about. And no offense, folks, I'm still one of those that says if you have an old R12 system and you can still find R12, which, by the way, it's still around, I am not an advocate of switching it over to the R134.
Yeah.
Just keep it.
We switch them. We use Freeze 12.
Freeze 12.
And they work really good. They
leave all the same components in it. Just go to Freeze 12. And so what is Freeze 12 versus R12?
It's a snap approved by CARB.
Replacement
for
R12?
Drop-in replacement, yeah.
Now, you can still get R12, right, from old stock and so on?
If you can find some old stock, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't really looked around because Freeze 12.
So you really don't need it. You just use Freeze 12 and away you go.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Now, Dodge Durango. Here's what I'm going to tell you about the Dodge Durango. Fantastic vehicle. Thoroughly enjoyed driving it. Great room, great drivability for the money. Honestly, competes with cars that are $20,000 higher in price, and really enjoyed driving it. Suggestion, if Dodge, you're listening, Chrysler, FCA, I should say, change the name. I think the reason you don't sell more Dodge Durangos today is because people still associate the name
with the big old tank it was.
Yep, with poor fuel economy, and they had problems, and they spent money on repairs, and so that name itself is just an example of where a name of a car can carry on and actually hurt the sales of that vehicle, even though it's not the same vehicle that it once was.
Got a stigma.
It's got a stigma. It's exactly right.
Yeah.
For example, V6, Pentastar V6 in that car, 24 miles to the gallon.
Wow.
Now, you tell me the old Dodge Durangos and if they would ever get 24 miles to the gallon. The answer is absolutely, positively not. Exactly. Exactly. Now, and I will also tell you that Durango, even though it's not quite as big, still competes with, say, a full-size Tahoe, Yukon, some of those vehicles. $20,000 less money and gets about 3 to 4 miles to the gallon better in fuel economy.
Yeah.
So, Dodge Durango, great vehicle. If you haven't driven one lately, I would encourage you to go out, drive one, check it out, and you'd be surprised. The car worked extremely, extremely well. I was thoroughly surprised.
That's good to know. Yeah.
I would not have guessed that and I should. My sister owns one, raves about the one she owns. She thinks it's the greatest car she's ever owned. And I drove one a few years ago, and I don't know, maybe I just wasn't paying as close of attention as I was this time, and maybe it's because I've driven some other SUVs here recently where I got more of a comparison to the other SUVs versus the Durango.
A few years ago was probably a V8, though.
It was a V8. The Pentastar V6, I tell you what, car worked.
Good motor.
300 horsepower. Car works fantastic. I mean, that V6 is dynamite. Works really, really well. So anyway, side note, if you're in the market for a new car, go check that out. And by the way, market for new cars, go to our website, drive-radio.com, new, used. You want to buy a car, lease a car, even if you've had a bankruptcy and you're struggling when it comes to the monetary sides of things, JFR Cars, one of our great sponsors, they'll fix you up. We have sent them several customers here recently, Dan Muir has for sure, where they have maybe less than stellar credit, and Mike at JFR can still get them in a car.
Good.
So even if you've had a bankruptcy, Mike can figure out a way to get you into a vehicle. So go visit him today. He'll figure all that out for you. Mike is his name. His direct number is right there. If you just go to our website, drive-radio.com, click on it. It'll take you right to his website. His email is, his direct phone number is what I should say for Mike Lather is 303-761-8045. So 303-761-8045. Talk to Mike. He'll get you fixed up. With that, let's go to hour number 2. We'll do a little news break. We'll come right back. Hour number 2 of Drive Radio coming up next. This is John Rush, Dorsey Johnson, Drive Radio.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
John Rush during the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
Well, it's that time of year again where we're all getting prepared for the upcoming hunting season. Hi, this is Scott Watley with Sportsman of Colorado. Tune in each week and we'll bring you local experts in archery, muzzleloading, and rifle hunting. Looking for a place to hunt? We've got you covered. Want to book a trophy deer or elk hunt with a reliable outfitter? We can help. For the anglers, we'll give you a fishing report each week. If you like the outdoors, you'll love Sportsman of Colorado, Saturdays at 1 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
Right now, The Source is simulcasting in AM and FM. KLZ Denver, AM 560. KLZ FM 100.7. And KLDC Denver, AM 1220 and FM 95.3. KLDC HD Denver and KLZ HD Denver with online listening at 560thesource.com.
USA Radio News with John DeMaster.
Michael Phelps competes in an Olympic swimming event for the final time tonight. Swimming is part of the American 4x100-meter medley relay team. He says it'll be the last event of his Olympic career. If he gets a gold today, it'll be his 23rd. Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa brags about the Judiciary Committee's accomplishment during his time as chairman, saying employing the principles of common sense and bipartisanship have been key.
I did early on that the Judiciary Committee would spend your taxpayers' dollars and our time focusing on areas where we can reach an agreement rather than on political fights destined for failure.
Grassley delivering this week's GOP address. Former President Bill Clinton defending his wife, saying the email controversy is bull. He spoke at a gathering in Vegas, calling it the biggest load of bull he's ever heard. At least 2 people are dead because of heavy rain and flooding in Louisiana and Mississippi. This is USA Radio News.
I'm Sean Hare, the site director at ConservativeTribune.com. Conservative Tribune is one of the most visited news sites in the world, and the reason is simple. ConservativeTribune.com delivers edgy and bold commentary of the news every day. We are unapologetically pro-America, unabashedly conservative. At ConservativeTribune.com, we don't make apologies for who we are or what we say. If you're looking for more than boring stories and simple thought, visit ConservativeTribune.com. That's ConservativeTribune.com.
What's at stake at this election? A lot. From the freedom to publicly practice and proclaim your faith to the nomination of Supreme Court justices. Matters of critical importance to Christians are looming in the days ahead. That's why we invite you to join us on September 9th through 11th in Washington, D.C. for the Values Voters Summit. Come to learn, be encouraged, and meet others who will stand for the renewal of this great nation. Visit valuesvotersummit.org for more information.
KLZ Denver.
John Rush during the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
Does your vehicle drive straight? Are your tires wearing even? Have you hit a few curbs or potholes lately? If any of these sound familiar, then you should have your alignment checked. At Arvada West Auto and Truck, we have the latest in alignment imaging technology to give you the perfect alignment. Many times, extra parts are needed to keep the tires wearing correctly. Call or stop in at Arvada West Auto and Truck, 11752 West 64th Avenue, just west of Sims. 303-422-1065.
Don't take your car to a corporate chain shop for regular maintenance. The corporate mechanic chain shops follow specs that are based on averages, and they don't even try to consider your individual experience. Trust Larry's Automotive and Transmission with your car's regular maintenance. At Larry's Auto, they really do take the time to get to know you and your car. They think about things like make, year, and model, but they also consider how much you drive, They even talk about your driving style because at Larry's, they understand that your car's needs are as different and unique as you are. Trust your car's regular maintenance to John Rush approved Colorado Select member Larry's Automotive, and you'll get the personalized service you need to keep your car on the road for as long as possible. Call Larry's Automotive at 303-427-2108 and start your car's relationship with Larry's Auto today.
Being an expert on general automotive knowledge, what would the correct ignition timing be on a 1955 Bel Air Chevrolet with a 327 cubic inch engine and a 4-barrel carburetor?
It is a trick question.
What's this?
Because Chevy didn't make a 327 in 55. The 327 didn't come out till 62.
So you're going to release your text materials?
Till 64. However, in 1964, the correct ignition timing will be 4 degrees before top dead center.
Get ready for another hour of Drive Radio, brought to you by Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. Got a question for the experts? Then give them a call, 303-477-5600. Now it's time to pop the hood and get our hands dirty. Drive Radio on KLZ 560 The Source.
And this is Drive Radio, KLZ 560, heard at 95.3, 100.7 FM, 1220 AM, which if you are listening on that station, thank you, as well as 560thesource.com, and you can get us on the TuneIn app right on your smartphone, or some people might want to call it the dumb phone. Either one, we'll get that taken care of. So if it is Sunday afternoon, thank you also for listening. We appreciate it very much. You cannot call us. I mean, you can, but there's nobody here to answer your call. But you can sure call in. But the best way to do it on a Sunday or even on a Saturday, if you'd like, if you don't want to wait on hold and talk to us on air. Some of you have stage fright. You can email us. Just go to drive-radio.com, click on the Contact Us, fill it in, and it'll send it off, and I'll get an email. Or if you've got an email, in some cases you guys want to put attachments to it, pictures, things like that, you can do that by going to john@drive-radio.com. Just send it to me, and we'll work it off that way. So I don't put my personal email on the website because spammers get a hold of that and just inundate you with a spam email. So I usually just give that out on air. But the best way to do that, again, just go to drive-radio.com or send me an email directly, John, John, @drive-radio.com. So that last segment there, we just talked about buying cars, the fact that we've got JFR Cars working with us when it comes to, getting yourself in a vehicle, things along those lines. Here are, and Dorsey actually sent me this here a week or so ago, 25 car selling secrets that only the dealers know. Now, it's probably not just the dealers that know this, but we're going to go through a few of these and let you know what it takes to actually get your vehicle sold. It's sort of that time of the year where folks are thinking about, well, winter's coming. Should I keep the car I've got? Should I upgrade, downgrade? Those are all questions that typically Mike Lather at JFR Cars can help you with, but we'll go through some of this on our own and try to help you out also. In the meantime, if you want to ask us any questions, 303-477-5600 is the phone number to call. The question of the day, I'm surprised we haven't gotten more of these. What was your favorite car in high school? Okay. Now, I said earlier that you need to have some sort of a personal, attachment or some way of knowing the vehicle that you're the most favorite, your most favorite car in high school was. Maybe it was your parents' car, your car, friend's car, girlfriend's car, you name it. But let us know what your favorite car in high school was. 303-477-5600. Back to selling your car. Number one, know your customer. Every buyer is different, and that means that each potential customer has different wants and needs for their car. The needs might include their family, the budget, the fuel economy, and so on. By knowing your buyer's needs, you can more easily make a sale. According to car sales advice website, carsalesprofessional.com. Now, for those of you that are out there just trying to sell your own vehicle, whether it's through Craigslist or what have you, knowing your customer is a big subject, because every vehicle has different customers. So what this probably is saying is, for example, if you've got a classic car that you're trying to sell, you're going to market and handle the sale of that car differently than if you've got a big old SUV you're trying to get rid of. Different markets, okay? Guy buying that classic car, most likely not the same guy buying the family truckster. Okay, you got two different markets there. The keywords you use, what you say in the ad, and who you're trying to attract, two totally different markets. Same thing if you're trying to sell your big SUV versus an economy car. Similar situation there. You're marketing to two different individuals there. When you do that, a Prius, for example, a hybrid, totally different market than even the guy wanting to buy an economy car. Each one of those ends up having its own little niche of buyers, and you need to know what your customer is. Now, the other thing I would tell you is that this article is not talking about, maybe it is in slide 2. Let me see what slide 2 is. No, this is a different slide. I would also say when knowing your customer is this. Depending upon the vehicle and the customer and what you're trying to sell, you may need to do different things with your vehicle to get it sold. I.e., you're trying to sell that old classic car. It might even have original paint on the car. You may be thinking, man, if I went out, painted the car, got it all fixed up and sold it, I might be better off that way and get more money for it. Think again. You might actually be better off with all the originality of the vehicle.
All right.
No paint, just getting it good, detailed, cleaned up, ready to go, and market it that way. Let the next guy decide whether he or she's going to paint it. Good example?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
The other side of that would be, this is another one that I would throw out there, guys that are trying to sell Jeeps. Now, some of you guys selling Jeeps, you want to market and advertise that Jeep has been across every known four-wheel drive trail in the world. Frankly, I wouldn't advertise it that way if I were you. Because to me as a buyer, when you've said it's been on every trail under the sun, it's wore out. It's beat up, worn out, and I don't want to touch that vehicle.
Yeah.
Get my drift on when it comes to marketing the vehicle, what you do and don't do? Telling me it's a great off-road vehicle and it'll climb every trail out there, and it has, probably isn't what I want to see as a buyer. Now, maybe some people want to see that. I'm not one of them. I want to know that vehicle is going to be solid, that it's going to last me a long time, and that it's not something I'm going to pour a bunch of money into. And frankly, I think everybody else out there is kind of in that same market.
Probably.
They don't want to know it's been a carnage and everything else under the sun and looks like carnage when you go to sell it. Okay? Mm-hmm. Number 2, this is a tough one, by the way. Offer your potential buyer a test drive. Now, in the world we live in today, that's a tougher one to take care of. And be very careful with who you let drive your vehicle.
Yeah, and don't let them just take off with it.
You need to be with them.
Yep.
And I would have somebody with you with them while you're driving. In other words, 2 against 1 is much better than 1 against 1. Be extremely careful when you go to do a test drive. Meet in a this isn't in this slide, by the way, but meet in a very well-lit, well-established place. In other words, you don't want to meet in some dark alley someplace. You want to meet in your local Walmart or shopping center, and you don't do it at 10 o'clock at night. As we get into these shorter daylight days, you do it in daylight hours, people around. Yes, offering a test drive is great, but you want to make sure that you're in control of the test drive. Is that a good way to say that, Darcy? Yep. Any suggestions you would have along those lines? Making sure your insurance company's okay with it too, probably?
Yeah, probably. And make sure that they're aware of what you're doing.
I would probably go also as far, if it were me personally, to make sure that the person test driving it has a valid driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
And I would make a copy of it if you have the ability. And the way you can make a copy is most people have cell phones with cameras. There's your copy.
Yeah.
Click, click, right there. Have that on record. Not saying that you shouldn't let somebody drive the car, but just be really leery of who you're letting drive your car. Now, if it's a car, it's fully insured, somebody takes off and they steal it, you're insured. But remember, you've got a deductible, and you may end up with that car back after they find it with damage, and now you're going to eat it.
All right.
You're going to keep that car. I know there's some cars out there, people would love to see it go away. Some chance, in a lot of cases, you're going to get that vehicle back. It's just going to be damaged, and you've got a big headache. So be very careful with who you let drive the vehicle. This goes back to my first point a moment ago. Make an effective online ad. It's easy to create an online car ad, but it's hard to create a good online car ad. It's important to include the car's important details, such as the make, model, year, mileage, but don't forget to also highlight your car's more attractive features that are in your ad. For example, it's got low miles, it's fuel efficient, so on and so forth. You could also look at some of the this is what I do. Look at some of the comparative ads that are out there and, no offense, plagiarize. Steal. If there's some other good words in somebody else's ad that you think you could use in yours, hey, as far as I'm concerned, if it's out there, it's for the taking.
Yep.
Borrow it. Use it in your own ad. Change the wording around. Have at it. Nothing wrong with doing that, folks. You want to make your ad stand out and be more attractive than the ad next to you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? Look at the ads that are next to you. Who are you competing with? What are those cars like? What does your car have that their car doesn't have? And quite frankly, if your car looks like a bucket of bolts, make it not look like a bucket of bolts and it'll sell better.
Yeah.
One of the things, and I don't know if this is in these slides because there's like 26 of these things, make sure that your car is cleaner than the rest of the cars that are out there you're competing with. And what I mean by that is full professional detail. The next slide is get a professional evaluation, and you could include that with your paperwork when somebody comes to look at the vehicle. Hey, I just had Arvada West look this vehicle over bumper to bumper. Here's the list they found. Here's the things that they inspected. Here's the report that I got back. It's all yours. It's all right there. It's open. Now, if they want to take the car and get their own pre-purchase done, which I would highly suggest, fine. Just make sure that yours coincides with what theirs is. And if you get the inspection done first, spend your money on the front side, you know exactly what the vehicle needs. And you know what? If there's a few things that it needs that will help increase the sale price of the car, do it. Get them done and over with. That's what dealers do when they're giving you their certified quote-unquote used car. Am I right, Dorsey?
Yeah, exactly.
That's all they're doing. They're taking the car, running through it, taking care of any known problems that are on the vehicle. That way they've got a better used car to sell you. You on your own can do the exact same thing and increase the value of your own car. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back. I've got a few more of these to roll through, and we'll talk about how you can actually maximize the price of your car if you're looking to sell. Any questions? We've got lines open, 303-477-5600. Dorsey Johnson from Arvada West is with us. I am John Rush, your host. We've got our great engineer, Charlie Grimes, and Larry Unger is answering the phones. We'll be right back here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Napa know-how.
Smartphone speakers. They're about as effective as chopping firewood with a butter knife. A rusty, dull butter knife. So pick up a wireless Bluetooth speaker at Napa for just $26.99 with a rechargeable battery.
He will connect up. He's over there hooking up now. Yeah. Sometimes he prefers to call in than try to figure it all out. But yeah. When I hear from him again, I'll tell him.
Offer expires 8/31/16.
At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we believe that all pets deserve to have a good life. And because we know that your pet will have many different needs throughout its life, we offer complete pet care services every day, all at one location. Whether your furry friend needs a checkup, advanced medical care, surgery, boarding, grooming, obedience training, food, care products, or toys, we are here for your pet 7 days a week. At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we know that you want the very best for your pet, which is why you can count on us to provide top-notch care in everything we do. We are certified with the highest rankings by the American Animal Hospital Association and hold a gold star rating with the Better Business Bureau. You and your pet can visit us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are located at 8681 East Lincoln Avenue in Lone Tree. Learn more about us by visiting our website at lonetreevet.com or just give us a call at 303-708-8050.
When you work on your car, take a look around. You find yourself in a tiny garage, tripping over your tools, or in that grease spot under a carport at your apartment, or someplace even worse. You busted your knuckles on the chassis too many times because you can't stop daydreaming about a place with a big garage where you can keep your ride and your tools out of the elements. Call Tom Wetzel at RE/MAX Alliance. Tom is a Colorado native with 17 years experience in assisting his clients as they move on to the next stages of their lives. Tom Wetzel and his team of real estate professionals are highly experienced with the business and emotional challenges involved in buying and selling real estate. In other words, Tom Wetzel isn't in the house selling business. He's in the business of helping people. Call Tom Wetzel at 303-808-2206. 303-808-2206 so he can do what he does best and get you into the house and the garage that you can be proud to call home.
Hey Hey, Northern Colorado. The sisters from Community Auto here. Just letting you know we got your back. We have a happy family here at Community Auto and would love for you to be a part. We've come a long way since opening shop more than 20 years ago. Thanks, Dad. As Small Business of the Year 2015, featured in Parts and People and among the top shops in Colorado, we'd like to thank you for trusting us with your vehicle. With our new customer loyalty program, you can earn rewards dollars and free services like oil changes and transmission flushes. Like us a lot? Refer a friend, and we'll give you $50. It's that easy. Auto repair doesn't have to be painful. Actually, with us, it's pretty fun. We know that a happy car will get you far, so we'll fix and maintain yours with a smile. We're fun, fresh, and good at what we do. Call us today or visit us at communityautoinc.com. We'd love to meet you.
The new gasoline direct injection engines, also known as GDI, are the hottest new improvement to horsepower and fuel efficiency in this century. Service professionals agree that GDI's unique power requires unique maintenance. BG Products has the most current and effective GDI maintenance available in over 20,000 shops, and they back it up with a lifetime BG protection plan. Go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com. If you have a GDI engine and you want it to last, remember 2 more letters. BG.
And this is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560. Dorsey Johnson from Arvada West is with us. Dorsey shop, by the way, is right in Arvada. 64th and Sims, basically.
Yeah, West Arvada.
West Arvada.
Although West is getting farther west where we'll be central.
So you're like central almost now. Actually, you really are central.
Yeah.
Because west goes a long ways now.
All the way to 93 and some.
Yeah. So you would think West, Arvada West, but it's really Arvada Central, but you're not going to change the name.
No.
Because you were on the west side initially.
Initially, we were the west.
You were it. Ralston Road was about as far west as you went. Not anymore. So anyways, Dorsey's over in that area. You need anything? Dorsey, what's your phone number directly if they want to call you?
303-422-1065.
All right, lines open, 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. Anything you want to talk about, tell us what your favorite car in high school was. We got car shows coming up next week and lots of things going on. So I'll continue on with if you're trying to get your vehicle sold, how do you do that? We just talked a moment ago about the professional evaluation, getting that vehicle looked at and so on. The other thing, again, I'm going to go back to is know your market. Know what you're trying to sell. Another example of where you need to know the market. Maybe you've got a truck that's had a snowplow on it. My suggestion to you is don't sell it as a unit. Take the snowplow off, sell it in one ad, take the truck, get it all cleaned up, make it look good, make it look like it's never had a plow on it. Now, if somebody asks, I'm always one that says you need to be truthful, but make that vehicle look as clean as possible, no plow on it, and sell it separate. Why? Because a lot of guys, when they see a plow truck, will just run. I don't care how clean it is. They'll run from it.
Yeah, they're afraid that frame, something's going to be bad.
And the reality is typically there's probably nothing at all wrong with that truck, but the perception is it's plowed snow, it's been beat, I don't want it.
Front.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, again, that's typically not the case, but in some cases it can be. So again, know what you're trying to do, know what you're trying to sell, and how you're doing it. The next slide. Get the vehicle's history report. Now, a lot of you guys can go to Carfax and get a report on your own car. Depending upon the age of the car, if the car's, if it's a regular, standard, everyday driver, say the car's 10 years old, I'm not a big one on that. I wouldn't spend the extra money to give somebody a Carfax report. Now, if it's a 10-year-old Corvette that you're trying to sell, I'd probably get a Carfax on it, get your inspection report, get as many items on that vehicle as you can to increase the value, let them know exactly the history of the car, and away you go. If you're trying to sell if you're trying to sell a 2005 Toyota Corolla, I don't think it's as big of a deal. Me personally, just don't think it's as big of a deal. Dorsey, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same area.
So it's really vehicle dependent.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this one we've already talked about, but I'll highlight it again. Get the car detailed. In other words, clean that car up, make it look like it's factory, showroom, fresh, ready to go.
Yep.
That will separate you from the pack. Now, and some of those folks I know firsthand.
Pack is the guys with all the mud issues and the dirt.
Yep. And in some of the, guys, I'm speaking from experience. I look at Craigslist on a routine basis. It's just sort of, I don't know, part of it because I'm a car guy. I look at what's out there. What are car values? What are they bringing and so on. And it amazes me the people that will even take a picture of their car to put on Craigslist and the front seat's full of trash. And I'm thinking, you're trying to sell your car. At least get rid of the empty bottles and McDonald's bags and whatever else is on the front seat.
Picture through the window and the floor is just packed with trash.
Or dirt or rocks. Or it's like, come on. Make that thing presentable. Because here's what the dealership's doing. When you look at their ad, it's even got a pattern in the carpet from the guy that detailed it with the way he vacuumed it to make it look as good in the picture as possible. Right. That's what you need to do. Get that vehicle looking as sharp as possible. You will far exceed the price of the detail when you go to sell the car once it's all good and cleaned up. What I mean by that is, let's say you spend $200 getting the car fixed up. You're likely to get $200 to $300 to $500 out of it additionally for doing so. It's worth every penny.
Yeah, some of the cars we work on, you literally have to get the food wrappers out of the way to get in the car and drive it.
Yep. It's a fact. You're right.
If you're going to sell that car, you don't want it smelling like pizza.
Nope.
Or hamburgers and onions.
And here's the other thing, folks, that I'm a big one against. And I'm a buyer too. I hate air fresheners. Those of you that hang air fresheners in the, in the windows and whatever, it might be great for you, might not be so great for the next guy buying the car. I am one that believes keeping the smells as quote unquote neutral as possible is the best thing you can do to resell your car. Because some people, just certain smells offend them. Some don't like the smell of smoke. Some don't like the smell of pine trees. I mean, you name it, there are things that they don't like. Now, here's one thing that most people do like, the new car smell.
Yeah.
Why do you think they keep selling new cars?
Formaldehyde.
Exactly. You climb in there, you get the new car smell, and you think, oh, this is so nice. Okay? Get my drift? They like the neutral or the new car smell.
How about Armor All? The Armor All smell.
They make products now that have no smell that still give you the same look that Armor All gives you. It's more of a lotion type product where there's no smell associated with it, but you still get the sheen out of it that you do Armor All, but it doesn't smell like Armor All. Yeah, I'm a big one where if you can keep the smell neutralized, you're better off. And here's a secret that I don't think is in the slides. There are products, again, sold on Amazon, because Napa doesn't sell these, I know for a fact. There are odor absorbers, I guess you could call them, that you can get on Amazon to where it's almost like a bug bomb, where you basically open this thing up inside the car, leave it for X amount of time, and it absorbs all of the nasty odors that are inside of the vehicle, and it works, including getting cigarette smoke out. I would highly advise you to do that if you're trying to get top dollar out of your car. Neutralize the smells that are in the car, because that alone can be offensive to a potential buyer. I know it is for me sometimes. I'll climb in a car sometimes and think, I can't smell this the next 4 years. I can't smell this the next 4 days. I'm not buying this car. So you hop out of it and go look at the next one. So again, keep your smells neutral. Post several photos of the car. You might think that a few photos of the car as a whole are sufficient to give buyers a good idea. But in reality, the buyer always wants to see more.
How about a new windshield?
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's got a crack in it of any kind at all, don't just say, well, I'll get that fixed before I sell it to you. No, have it done ahead of time. Get it fixed first, because here's the other thing. Looking out of a clean, clear windshield gives you a totally different perspective on the car than looking through a crack or a bunch of pits. It's amazing. It's like here's the difference, folks. Those of you that wear glasses, it's like wearing a pair of dirty glasses that you all of a sudden clean up and put back on and like, whoa, I can see again. That's what a windshield does.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, I can. I've worn glasses now for the past 15 years. I know exactly what that's like.
Yeah.
The windshield on your car is the eyeglasses to it. It's exactly the same thing. Same, it's not in this article either, but I would also look at the same thing on the headlights. Are they faded, yellowed, nasty, where they won't hardly shine through, or do they sparkle?
Yep.
A couple of new headlights might be what it takes to actually help sell that car versus even repairing the old ones. And they're not that expensive.
No, they're not anymore.
Get the car looking and performing its best before you actually go to sell it. Something else I don't think is in this ad or is in this article, tires. Mm-hmm. You're always better off putting new even if they're cheap off-brand new tires, put those on the car before you sell it, before keeping your old ones that have 50,000 miles on them. Thinking, I'm just going to dump the car anyways, why do I want to put tires on it? Well, kind of goes back to that detail. New tires, detailing the car, you might end up getting $1,000 more money out of the car than you did originally just because you've got it all fixed up, ready to go now. Keep this in mind, folks. And this is not a knock against people, because most of you fit into this category. Most people have no vision. What I mean by that is they cannot see what the vehicle looks like fixed up. They can only imagine what it looks like now.
All right.
Why do they think they tell you when you go to sell your new home, one of the first things you do is paint the front door?
Yeah, stage your home.
Stage the home, paint the front door, make the landscaping look good. People have no vision to see what that's going to look like after they buy it. So before it's sold, show them what it's going to look like. We got calls coming in. Let's do this. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. Della's calling in. Let's do this. We got lines open, 303-477-5600. We'll be right back. John Rush, Dorsey Johnson, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Hello, Drive Radio listeners. This is Chris Hammond with Ken's and Leslie Distributing, your local BG Products distributor. Back again this week with your BG Tech Tip. This week, we want to talk about towing trailers. As you head out through your summer and you bring all your toys to the mountains or to the lake, it's critical to ensure that your vehicle and your trailer are in top working order and properly connected to ensure that you have a safe and enjoyable towing experience. First, you want to make sure that you have the proper tongue weight. Approximately 10 to 15% of your trailer weight should be on the tongue of the trailer. If the suspension of your vehicle can't support that weight, you can buy an equalizing hitch to help balance that out. You also want to make sure that your safety chains are crossed under the hitch side to side in an X pattern. That way, if for whatever reason the hitch comes adrift, the trailer tongue will drop onto the chains instead of the ground. Also, make sure you check the tire pressure, both on your towing vehicle and the trailer itself. A good walk-around inspection can help identify any loose items on the trailer or maintenance needs that need to be done. Do a good load check. Double check and recheck every time you stop all of your load. Check your tie downs so that they're safely secured and your load does not shift during towing. Additionally, you want to make sure that you check the brakes. Check the trailer brakes and the tow vehicle brakes using the electric control for the brake check as often as possible. And the bearings on your trailer need to be packed with a high quality grease. That goes double for boat trailers that are regularly immersed in water or even salt water, though probably not in Colorado. Check the battery, make sure the battery's charged, and enjoy your trip. We all live in a beautiful place and we like to get outside and play with those toys. So make sure your trailer and your tow vehicle are maintained properly. Thanks again, Drive Radio listeners. This is Chris Hammond with BG Products. We'll talk to you again next week.
For over 33 years, Geno's Auto Service has been Littleton's top shop. Now, for the third year in a row, Geno's has been awarded the Best of Littleton by the City of Littleton. At Geno's, we are members of Colorado Select Auto Care and offer the Napa Nationwide Peace of Mind warranty. We're AAA approved and, for your convenience, offer a fleet of loaner vehicles. We're located at Bowles and Platte Canyon, so stop in or visit us online at genosautoservice.com. That's Geno's with a J.
Napa know-how. Not all store brands are created equal. For example, when you buy Napa brand synthetic motor oil for $2.99 a quart, you're getting a quality product for a great price. Unlike buying store brand ketchup, good price, but with a funky kind of aftertaste. So pick up Napa full synthetic motor oil now for $2.99 a quart. The taste your car will love. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, and recycling fees. Offer expires 8/31/16.
At Extreme Auto Repair in Parker, they only fix what's broken. Other shops will sometimes try to intimidate you into expensive repairs you don't really need. Instead of taking the time to find out what's really wrong, they'll work to persuade you that you need to replace major parts, costing you more money. Dennis Brewster, owner of Extreme Auto, believes in working with the customer to help your car last as long as it can. If there's something wrong with your head gasket, they won't replace the whole motor. You'll never have to wonder if you're being charged for unnecessary repairs, because at Extreme Auto, they'll make sure you understand exactly what's wrong with your vehicle. They can even show you the old parts so you can see for yourself what the problem was. They want to win you over for the future, not overcharge you for repairs you don't need. Call Extreme Auto today and get the straight story on what your car needs. 303-841-1071. That's 303-841-1071.
You love your Triumph sports car. But since Triumph went out of business in 1981, it has become difficult to find anyone who knows anything about these classic cars. For over 3 decades, the Rocky Mountain Triumph Club has been helping Triumph owners enjoy keeping their cars running smooth and on the road. The Rocky Mountain Triumph Club's great newsletter is packed with resources, including a schedule of driving events, car shows, and social events, along with a listing of tech advisors for help repairing or restoring your Triumph. For information about how to become a Rocky Mountain Triumph Club member, visit the award-winning website at RockyMountainTR.org or come to back at 3rd Tuesday in Denver. Connect with the Rocky Mountain Triumph Club today so you and your Triumph can stay on the road.
And this is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560 at 95.3 and 100.7 FM. Dorsey Johnson from Nevada West is also with us. Al's got a question on the car smells. Al, welcome.
John, thank you so very much. I just tuned in, and as you were reading through your list of tips, I wondered what the brand name of the product was that you were mentioning, because I bought my car with some off smells, and I would really love to get rid of them. You know, I use those Febreze vent clips.
Right. They mask. That's a masker.
Smell.
Yeah. There's a product, and I saw this at SEMA several years ago, and it's now worked its way, believe it or not, into Home Depot. Home Depot now sells it. It's a Biocide Systems. That's the name of the company that sells it, and they call it Auto Shocker. And it's a chlorine dioxide odor eliminator, and it's an absorbent where it actually absorbs the odors that are actually inside of the vehicle.
Excellent. So I can look that up online, and it's
Home Depot. I'm looking right now. Home Depot looks like most of the Denver metro stores have got that. Let me look here. Probably not in stock, but can get it within a few days.
Okay.
Now
I will reach out.
I'm guessing that you could probably buy that on. Let me look here real quick and see. I'll bet you can buy that on. I hate to say this, but I bet you could buy it on Amazon also. Let me look here. Typing as we speak. Yeah, you can buy. You can actually buy. You can get it on Amazon also. Same price.
Okay.
It's one word, Biocide, Biocide, just Biocide Systems Auto Shocker, and you can buy it several different ways. And it works. I saw a demonstration of it at SEMA Show. Oh gosh, it's been probably 3 or 4 years ago now, and evidently these guys have done fairly well because they've gotten into some major markets with it. And I don't know why Napa doesn't sell it. I need to get on the guys at Napa and see if they'll start stocking it because it's a good product.
Excellent. Thank you so very much.
You're very welcome. I appreciate the
Auto Shocker.
Yep. Biocide Auto Shocker.
You know, Napa does sell for maintenance. Their premium cabin filter is EnviroShield.
Ah.
And it reduces odors too for a long, so if you got a bad problem, you might want to follow up your Auto Shocker with a good EnviroShield field.
Got it. Okay, so there's even some reviews on Amazon that talk about, here, for example, I'll just read this to you. This stuff is awesome. Purchased my in-laws' 2007 Ford Explorer. The truck has been hauling 2 to 3 smokers in it for the last 7 years.
Oh.
It goes on, talks about how bad the smell was and so on. He says, I cleaned the HELL out of the truck, interior, wiping, washing, blah, blah, blah. Followed up with the spray, so on and so forth. Nothing he tried in this particular review worked until he did this stuff. He says, you place this stuff in the cup holder. About an hour later, held my breath, started the truck, ran the AC in the recycle mode, did that for 15 to 20 minutes, repeated it an hour later, left the truck locked up for the next day. The manufacturer says 4 to 24 hours. 24 hours later, opened it up, and it didn't smell of smoke, more like a chemical clean, sort of like chlorine in a pool. So there you have it, folks. It works.
Sounds like it works.
Now, I saw a demo on it, and it works. Now, one thing I will tell you is when you read reviews, take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt, including the bad reviews, because what I've learned on Amazon is there are people out there, competitors of certain products, that will post negative reviews to go against the ones that are positive because they don't want their competitor having a leg up. Well, all I can tell you is here's the deal. For $25, it's a pretty low risk trial. That's not much. Give it a whirl, see if it works. But the testing that I saw done on it seemed pretty good to me. Dell, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Hey, John, how you doing?
Doing great.
The reason I called this next weekend, the 19th, 20th, and 21st, we're having the Veteran Appreciation Weekend down in Cripple Creek.
Okay.
And we do a ride from Woodland Park, a POWMIA ride from Woodland Park High School to Cripple Creek. And last year, I heard they had about 5,500 bikes.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome.
And usually there's upwards of, there's over the 3 days close to another Sturgis, but not quite as big as Sturgis. It's really a good time.
Wow.
They have an air show, and we got some good speakers. They got one guy that's speaking this next weekend that's 102 years old. He's one of the last survivors of World War, of Pearl Harbor.
Awesome.
And then they do a 21-gun salute up in the mountains with 75 millimeter cannon for the soldiers lost this last year.
That'd be cool.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so how do people find out more about that, Dell?
They can go online and find it, or like I said, the show, it starts Friday, and then the parade and the MIA POW ride is Saturday. Registration is like 9. It starts at 9 o'clock, I believe, at the Woodland Park High School, and then they stands up about 10:30. And it's about a 45-mile ride. We got a full police escort.
Okay.
To take us there.
Awesome. Awesome. Good deal. Dell, that's awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the work you do and all that, too. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's a good time. It's really, you don't want to be a non-patriot and be in Cripple Creek.
Oh, yeah, amen. Good deal. Right on, Dell. Appreciate it very, very much. Appreciate that phone call. Line's open, 303-477-5600. So it got off a little bit, shouldn't say off track. We started talking about smells in the car. Larry also had a suggestion, too, and this is a great way, by the way, just to kind of keep and maintain a good, sort of odorless smell inside the vehicle, and that is to keep a couple dryer sheets underneath the seat, kind of at all times.
Yeah.
Those dryer sheets will do well at absorbing some of the odors that are actually inside of the vehicle. It makes it smell nice and fresh. And the other thing that we have noticed as a fleet is some of the vehicles that we park, periodically. I've got some vehicles we only use in the summer, some we only use in the winter. And mice, rodents can be a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
Those dryer sheets help immensely because they don't, those rodents don't like the smell. No, they don't like to smell that fresh smell. So, just something to think about. Let's see here. We have got, what's the next slide here? Post the right kind of photos. I talked about that a minute ago. Yeah, and speaking of those photos, this is something else to think about. Take the photos at eye level and above eye level and below eye level. What I mean by that is, people want to see what the wheels and tires look like. They want to see what the rocker panels look like. They want to see if the top of the hood is all dented. Don't just take one angle shot, one front shot, one rear shot. Do some close-ups. If it's got a little bit of damage, especially on a newer vehicle, show that damage. Say, here's a door ding. Show it. Here's what to expect. It eliminates, first of all, a lot of tire kickers when you do that. Because you know what? If a guy's looking for a perfect car and yours has a big door ding, do you want him showing up, walking the car, looking at the door ding, and then saying, I'm leaving? He just wasted your time and his by showing up and doing that.
Yeah.
Or you wasted his, I guess I should say, by him doing that. So don't waste your time and his or hers. Give the person a really good indication of what's in the vehicle. And also on the interior, here's another thing I would suggest. Post the odometer reading. That way, everybody knows exactly what it says. Now, if it's a daily driver, and you've posted the odometer reading, make sure in your ad you say, this is a daily driver. Here's the day I took the picture. I'm going to add miles to it each day because this is how far I drive. Pretty simple.
Like if you're just a highway driver, put in highway drives only, because that means a lot to people.
Means a lot to me. If it's a highway only mile, or if it's highway only miles, you can shave about half of them off and get the real mileage.
Right.
In other words, if it's a 200,000 mile highway car, it's about the same as a 100 to 125,000 mile city car.
Right.
And say that.
Yep.
If you have records, now I wouldn't post your records online, but I would definitely say all maintenance records included with the vehicle. And when you go to show the vehicle, have copies of those. Don't bring your originals along. Have copies of those. Show them. Here's all the things that have been done to the vehicle.
Yeah, and usually, like, if you don't, but we've taken care of your car for years, we'll be glad to print them for you.
Great idea. That's the advantage, by the way, of using one of our Colorado Select facilities versus somebody else. They're going to have all of your records computerized. Touch of a button, click, there you go. You can have them all.
Yeah.
Piece of cake. All of them.
That means a lot to people.
It's huge. When somebody can see that and they can see the history of the vehicle and they know somebody's been taking care of it, that is well worth it. Lastly, before we go to this next break, is know your car's value. No matter how clean it is, your 20-year-old car with 150,000 miles on it probably won't be worth 10 grand. This is why you have to be honest with yourself about what you think you can get for it. Post an ad. If it's too high of a price, folks, and I've seen this, I've had people even call into our show right here. If it's too high priced, they won't respond. You won't get an email. You won't get a phone call. And I mean, on Craigslist in this world, you've got to be within about $500 to get movement on that car, or they just won't call. I can tell you that from experience. They won't call. If you're $500 too high, forget it. They're not calling. If you're a couple $100 too high, you'll get some phone calls. Mm-hmm. Now, it's relative. I mean, I say $500. If you're trying to sell a $2,000 car and you're $500 too high, they're not calling. If you're trying to sell a $10,000 car and you're $500 too high, they're probably going to call.
All right.
If you're a $10,000 car and you're $5,000 overpriced, they're not going to call. Get my drift?
All right.
It's all relative. You got to be within reason, or you're not going to get any hits on the ad you just placed. We'll be right back. We've got more tips on how to sell your car. Any questions you've got, give us a call, 303-477-5600. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Napa know-how. In third grade, there's one way to protect yourself. Karate. But now that you're mostly grown up, pick up a dash cam at Napa for just $39.99. With 8 gigs of storage, a wide-angle lens, and loop recording, it's everything you need to protect yourself on the road. A Napa dash cam for $39.99. It's no flying mantis neck kick, but just as effective. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 8/31/16.
In a flash, from out of nowhere, your whole life can change forever. It happened so quickly, nobody saw it coming. Soon the medical bills will be arriving.
Will insurance cover your injuries? Does the other driver have assets? Should I sue?
It was his fault after all. After an accident, you need to call the law offices of Flesh Law. Flesh Law will never settle until you are fully compensated for your injuries.
Call 303-806-8886 for the Flesh Law Firm. 303-806-8886. Online, go to fleshlawfirm.com.
Flesh Law, the trial-tested, trial-ready attorneys.
Things you should know. Your address, your phone number, your wife's birthday, where your keys are, and your credit score. What? You don't know what it is? Or are you just too afraid to say it out loud? For those of you that have pristine credit and are proud of it, good job. High five. You worked hard for that, but the rest of us might have slipped up a time or two and have bad credit, or maybe have even declared bankruptcy. Buying things like a car may be very difficult, if not impossible. But Mike Lather at Bankruptcy Autos is your friend that will get you back in the driver's seat. He will handle all the paperwork for you and even arrange financing. For those of us that are worrying about how we will ever be able to purchase a car, Mike Lather with Bankruptcy Auto is the way to go. Give him a ring at 720-266-4941, 720-266-4941, or check out bankruptcyauto.com. Tell Mike that you heard about him on Drive Radio.
Top auto manufacturers admit that today's high-tech engines on average can use a quart of oil every 1,000 miles. Why? To meet the government's fuel economy mandates, they use the faster-moving low-tension piston rings that can clog quickly, reducing power, causing poor fuel economy. The Performance Oil Service from BG Products cleans piston rings and restores the fuel system. And it's backed up with lifetime protection for the engine. Ask your service advisor about the BG Performance Oil Service or go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
Hi, everyone. I am Carla Muir, and I am so excited to tell you about the most amazing weight loss diet ever. Dr. Julie's HCG diet has changed my life forever. I have lost 22 pounds in only 31 days. I feel great, and I have more energy. It was mentally challenging, but physically easy. All I had to do was pick one fruit, one veggie, and one lean meat for every meal. Dr. Julie's special drops kept me from feeling hungry, and the drops targeted only my bad fat. The most amazing part is that I off. It was effective and the easiest weight plan that I have ever tried. Contact Julie right now at Ascent Health Center at 303-343-8800.
And this is Drive Radio. Almost made a mistake. Close. Drive Radio. Dorsey Johnson, Arvada West, is with us today. Larry Unger, of course, on the other side of the glass. And we need to get Larry busy, so let's answer some calls. 303-477-5600. Come on, somebody's got to give me, other than one so far today, only one. Bill told us what his favorite car in high school was. There's got to be somebody else out there that's got a favorite high school car. Dorsey, what was yours?
It's kind of a toss-up, but I'd say 64 Falcon Sprint.
64 Falcon Sprint.
Yeah, 4-speed.
Okay. Mine was, and I didn't own this car. I had some good cars and some fast cars in high school. But I had the opportunity, a good friend of mine, had a friend, so I had some connection to this car. A 70 Chevelle LS6. Muncie 4-speed, Rock Crusher 4-speed, 12-bolt posi, 410 gears. That car, fast. Smoking fast.
Yeah.
Fell in love with that car the day I got to ride in it, and it was like, wow, this is, if I could ever buy that car again, and it was the right color, red with the black stripes, looked good. I mean, if I knew where that car was today, but I'd own it. But they were worth a ton of money today.
Oh, yeah.
So that was one of the cars I fell in love with in high school. Now, a lot of other guys would say Mustangs and Camaros and Corvettes and all that. Well, that 70 Chevelle LS6 car was absolutely, let me just say this. It was a car I was so impressed with that when I built my drag race Camaro that I ran at Vandermeer's, guess what engine I put in it? An LS6 454. Yeah. And it was a 12-second car at Vandermeer's. That's how well those cars ran back then. So that was a good car. So what was your favorite car in high school? Okay, continuing on with how to sell your car. Next slide is know how much comparable cars sell for. Once you know what your Blue Book value is, you can further pinpoint your car's price by comparing it to others that are for sale locally. And remember, those are cars that are for sale that have not sold. So there's a big difference between what somebody's asking versus somebody that sells it. Asking price is not always what the car sells for. So you always kind of got to look at the other cars that are out there, what they're asking for them, and say, they may be asking that, but they're probably not going to get that. Again, I go back to the last slide. You got to be within reason or you're not going to get that car sold. Juan, you're next. What's going on, sir? Hello, Juan.
Oh, how you doing?
Good, sir.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
My favorite high school car, I had a buddy that had a 1994 Impala Super Sport.
Ooh. Okay. I actually saw one of those on Craigslist the other day. Pretty clean car, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, not too many of those running around either.
It was kind of a grocery getter, but, they were nice.
They were a nice car. No, you're right. And they were a sleeper. They actually ran pretty well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess that was it.
All right, Juan. Good talking to you, man. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend, Juan. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to Mark and Greeley, who's next. Mark, welcome.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
So my favorite car in high school was the 1999 Subaru Legacy GT. And that was the year I graduated high school, and I owned two of them. So my question with that is, one of them, the fuel pump went out on it.
Okay.
So I changed the fuel pump, and it worked fine for, a couple months. Now it seems like the fuel pump went bad again. When I changed the fuel pump, it seemed like there was an incredible amount of debris in the tank. And to pull the tank is to separate the vehicle and put it back together again. So it's not really something I plan on doing. But is there a way to clean the tank out enough to not have that pump possibly get plugged up again safely?
Your access to change the pump is through the trunk area?
Correct.
Well, you could pull the pump back out and pump the tank out, pump all the gas out of it and dry it out, and you could actually vacuum it.
You can get a shop vac down in there, clean it out as much as you could. Even put some cleaner inside of there that you actually could use to get as much of that rust and crud and junk, whatever's in there, back out of there. Vacuum that back out without taking the tank down.
So you're saying siphon the tank first, and then it would be safe to use a shop vac?
Sure.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have any fumes in there, get all that out of there, and
right.
Let that let it air out. And the other thing you could do, just as a side note too, you can put a little bit of water down in there. As long as you get all that water back out of there before you actually put any fuel back in it, you could do that and be a little safer that way.
Okay.
Not going to hurt anything.
All right.
Yeah, I've wiped them down with 409 before. And
exactly. You can clean them up with whatever you want to use.
I've taken my heat gun and just let it run real slow in there and dry it out real good for a while.
The other thing you can use is some acetone on the inside of that tank to help clean some of that up. Now, be careful with the fumes of that, just like you would with gasoline, but you could run some acetone in it too and clean it up that way.
Okay, yeah, because it seemed like there was a lot of rust particles, metal, and then maybe like almost a corn type of material, that's real sticky.
Really?
Wonder if it's sugar.
I wonder, yeah. If maybe somebody put sugar in the tank, I don't know.
Could be. That'd be another good reason to use some acetone.
Use some acetone, get that varnish out of there that way. And then
if you're getting rust in there, you may be getting water in there somehow.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in the future, Mark, use that Stable 360 product that'll coat the inside of that tank and help that from developing again in the future.
Yeah.
I was actually going to do that this very next fill up before the pump died. So,
okay.
Check your
filler.
filler.
We'll change it out, try to clean it up first, and then go from there.
Check your filler hose clamps and stuff, and look at the hose real close. Make sure you're not getting any water in there.
Right, because that's where where that rust will come from.
Yeah.
Right. Correct. Okay. Thank you guys.
You're very welcome, Mark. No, thanks for the phone call. Appreciate it very much. Enjoy talking to you. Mark and Eaton, you're next.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great.
Hey, first off, I'll just tell you about the car that I used to love when I was in high school, and then I need to talk to you guys about a car that I
that's fine.
With for my sister. But here's the deal: the car that I loved, had a friend of mine, dad bought him this car, 1970 Nova SS 396, 4 on the floor.
Oh yeah.
Cortez silver, black roof, black interior.
Right on. That's a car you'd own today.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I would love to have that car, and he destroyed that car.
Really?
He just trashed it. His dad gave it to him, and he just destroyed it.
That's unfortunate.
Oh, I made it. It's one of those cars you get to look at it, and you drive it, and you go, oh my gosh.
Yep.
I couldn't afford it.
Yep. I hear you.
But anyhow, I do have a problem. Dorsey actually knows this car because he worked on it for my sister here a while back, about a year ago. I have to do something with a car that my mom had before she passed. And it is a 1984 Oldsmobile station wagon.
Okay.
How could I forget
70,000
that?
miles on it. Dorsey, you remember that car?
Yeah, I couldn't forget it. Nifty old station wagon.
You fought that car for, I don't remember how long, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, she passed here a while back, and I don't really know what to do with this car. I don't have any need for it, any use for it. Is it one of those cars that you'd be better off to donate to somebody? It doesn't have that many miles on it, and you've got to run it really quite well. But
you could donate it, get some. You you could donate it, get some tax advantage out of it that way. You know, you could also Craigslist it. That car's a great Craigslist car. It will sell on Craigslist.
Yeah, there's people looking for wagons.
Yeah, no, you could sell that all day long.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It won't bring a ton of money, but it'll sell. You know, frankly, that car priced right will sell in a day.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's good to know, because it's not, I mean, it needs some cosmetic work. It needs some paint, but I tell you, it runs really quite well now.
Yeah. You know, that car, you know, that's a great either first-time driver car or low-income families, things along those lines. I mean, you know, frankly, I would say, you know, you could donate that car. No offense, but you may donate that car and actually not get as good a deal to the low-income family that you could actually sell it directly to. And I'll be careful how I say that, but by the time you donate it, somebody fixes it up, puts their, you know, ads into it to where they're going to now get a little bit more money back out of it. You actually might actually help another family out more so by just selling it directly to them.
Okay. All right. That's not a bad thought. It's sitting in that garage now. It's not being driven again.
Got
it. We're going to have to do something with it. And,
yeah, and the longer it sits, the worse that gets. So I would get on this right away.
Yeah, I know. We got to do something here pretty quick.
Yep. All right, man. Appreciate it so much. Thanks so much for the phone call. With that, we got to take a run to the top of the hour break. We'll be right back. Mickey, Dan, hang tight. We have one line open, 303-477-5600. This is Drive Radio. John Rush, Dorsey Johnson, your host, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
John Rush during the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
A program where you'll learn something new every day. John Rush here on the next Rush to Reason. It's not the same thing regurgitated because we bring something new and fresh on a daily basis. Dan Muir will be with us. He'll have traffic and weather updates. And of course, we want you to be a part of our show. That's the next Rush to Reason every weekday from 3 to 7 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
You're listening to The Source in more ways than one. AM 560 KLZ Denver, KLZ HD Denver, and KLZ FM 100.7. Simulcasting on KLDC Denver and KLDC HD Denver, AM 1220, and KLDC FM 95.3. Online at 560thesource.com.
USA Radio News with John DeMaster.
Donald Trump says he was being sarcastic when he called President Obama and Hillary Clinton the founders of ISIS.
And these dishonest media people, the most dishonest people, they said, oh, did he mean that? Didn't he mean that?
In Pennsylvania, Trump also slamming news organizations for reporting that he was being serious. Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton, meantime, releases her 2015 tax returns. She and her husband, Bill, earning more than $10 million last year. They paid more than $3 million in taxes. They say they paid a federal tax rate of roughly 34%. The combined federal, state, and local tax figure was about 43%. American swimming star Michael Phelps now up to 27 career Olympic medals. He finished in a three-way tie for silver in the men's 100-meter butterfly last night in Rio. This is USA Radio News.
If you'd like to control your blood pressure without medication, I have some exciting news. My name is Floyd Brown, and I'm the CEO of USA Radio. It's called the Zona Plus, and it's a safe, easy way to lower your blood pressure naturally. I'm using it myself. 22 clinical studies confirm regular use of the Zona Plus can decrease your blood pressure by 10% or more. That's why it's been written about by Harvard, the Mayo Clinic, and the American Heart Association. As a listener to USA Radio, the company is offering you a special savings of $50 and free shipping. To find out more, go to zonaplususa.com. That's zonaplususa.com or call toll free 1-866-669-9662. Be sure to mention USA Radio and save $50 on your Zona Plus and change your life. Remember, zonaplususa.com.
KLZ Denver.
At Extreme Auto Repair in Parker, they only fix what's broken. Other shops will sometimes try to intimidate you into expensive repairs you don't really need. Instead of taking the time to find out what's really wrong, they'll work to persuade you that you need to replace major parts, costing you more money. Dennis Brewster, owner of Extreme Auto, believes in working with the customer to help your car last as long as it can. If there's something wrong with your head gasket, they won't replace the whole motor. You'll never have to wonder if you're being charged for unnecessary repairs, because at Extreme Auto, they'll make sure you understand exactly what's wrong with your vehicle. They can even show you the old parts so you can see for yourself what the problem was. They want to win you over for the future, not overcharge you for repairs you don't need. Call Extreme Auto today and get the straight story on what your car needs. 303-841-1071. That's 303-841-1071.
Hey, Northern Colorado. The sisters from Community Auto here. Just letting you know we got your back. We have a happy family here at Community Auto and would love for you to be a part. We've come a long way since opening shop more than 20 years ago. Thanks, Dad. As Small Business of the Year 2015, featured in Parts and People and among the top shops in Colorado, we'd like to thank you for trusting us with your vehicle. With our new customer loyalty program, you can earn rewards dollars and free services like oil changes and transmission flushes. Like us a lot? Refer a friend, and we'll give you $50. It's that easy. Auto repair doesn't have to be painful. Actually, with us, it's pretty fun. We know that a happy car will get you far, so we'll fix and maintain yours with a smile. We're fun, fresh, and good at what we do. Call us today or visit us at communityautoinc.com. We'd love to meet you.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower. 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image is what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
And this is John Rush, your host, Drive Radio, KLZ 560, heard on 95.3 and 100.7 FM. Dorsey Johnson from Arvada West is also with me, and we're talking about cars from high school, how to sell your car, you name it. We got it all. We got lines full. Let's get right on it. Mickey, you're next. What's going on today, sir? Mickey, are you there?
Yeah, okay. I didn't hear.
That's all right.
Anyway, back in high school, there was Prince Valiant. Paul's dad, also Paul, had a Valiant station wagon.
Okay.
Except he wanted a pickup truck.
Oh, no.
So he took the back hatch off, chopped it at the windows, welded the hatch back in, and had himself a pickup truck.
Made himself a pickup.
Unique.
Yeah, it was different. You didn't see too many of them.
That's probably one of the best things you could do with a Valiant.
Yeah.
All that thing went like, it was pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But I But Paul let me drive it once, and he says, "Hurry up, hit R for." It had a push button transmission on it. Yeah,
R for race.
Push button.
So this guy passes. Everybody hollered, "Push R for race!"
Oh no!
And my hand was headed right that way. No. That would have been.
That'd have been the end of it.
Good.
Yeah, that would not have been good. Good story. Good story, Mickey. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it very much. Somebody called in a moment ago, wanted to know about the deodorizer and the stuff that I have seen work. I've not tried it myself, but I've seen it. I've experienced it. I've not tried it personally. I guess I should at some point. Maybe I will now that I'm talking about it. It's called Biocide Auto Shocker. It's a chlorine dioxide odor eliminator. So Biocide Systems Auto Shocker. You can buy it at Home Depot, Amazon, you name it. It's out there. Got a line open, 303-477-5600. What was your favorite car from high school or any other automotive questions that you've got? That's what we're here for. Don't forget, next Saturday, Extreme Auto Repair will be there live. Got a big remote going on and a big car show, and it'll be a blast. And I would encourage you to come out.
Hot dogs and burgers.
Hot dogs, burgers, you name it. Another great.
Larry, though.
Larry, we'll blow the smell back to Larry. Another great event going on today. Phoenix Weaponry, Scott Watley and the gang are up there as we speak. It's a big open house at Phoenix Weaponry, 1822 Skyway Drive in Longmont. It's their second annual Customer Appreciation Day. They'll be there today from 9 to 9. Food and drinks, giveaways, T-shirts, hats, patches, you name it. They'll all have it up there. I'd encourage you to stop by, say hi to Aaron and the guys for us. Dan, you're next. What's going on today, sir?
Hey, what's up, John?
Hey, good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, my favorite car from high school, I have one and then I have an honorable mention, was a Volvo, a 98 especially, 98 Volvo V70R.
That's a nice car.
It is a nice car.
Yeah.
I have had two since, and I have one right now, too.
Those are nice cars. They really are. That's a great car.
Yeah, I really like it. And actually, a question I have with that is, it's like every 30,000 miles, sometimes less, sometimes more, I always have to change my heater core. And it's
Why?
pretty common with Volvos. It's just like they're always this chintzy thing, and they always clog up, and then you always get a little pinhole leak in it, and it just happens all the time.
How often are you changing coolant on the car?
Probably
every time you change the heater core.
Yeah, I would probably, knowing that, I would probably start flushing that and changing the fluid out every other year.
Well, my question was, and it's tight, have you heard of anybody putting a bypass on it?
No, I have not. And here's the reason why I would not recommend that. You will still get corrosion inside of the core just from the air that would still be, well, you'd even have a little bit of coolant left in there that's not going to be recycled anywhere. And I would not do that because I don't think you're going to benefit yourself by doing that. I would just keep the coolant serviced in it.
Yeah. And then the other car, my grandfather had it, was a 87 Volkswagen Scirocco.
Those were good cars also.
Nice car.
Those were nice cars back in the day. Sure were.
I love that thing.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, so you've actually got two of those Volvos now, is that right?
No, I've had two since.
Okay.
I have one right now.
Got it. You got one. Yeah. I would, Dan, just keep the coolant changed in that. Keep it good and fresh, and you should be in good shape.
Yeah, all right. Maybe I'll be changing my heater core this weekend.
There you go.
All right, guys.
All right. See you later, Dan. Thanks for calling. He's one of our weekday listeners, by the way. Dan, thanks a lot. We really, really appreciate it. Kevin in the Springs, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Hey, good morning, guys. Long-time listener, habitual caller. I'm always calling you
That's
about
all right.
problems. You always hook me up, so good deal. I just wanted to weigh in real quick on the favorite cars from high school. You know what? My first car was a Chevy Vega that just looked like hell. Rusted out, but you know what? It always started, always got me where I needed to go.
Really?
And
that's unusual. I was just going to say that. I think you take the prize today because that's very unusual. Most of the time, those things wouldn't get from A to B.
Yeah.
You know what? The engine outlasted the body. I put that engine in two different Vegas.
Really?
And it just would not die.
Really?
And the forward balance between the grill and the hood was missing. There was baling wire kind of holding the whole thing together. I don't know why the headlights were still in it. It was so rusty. Like I said, it looked like, the devil, but it would get me wherever I wanted to go.
Wow.
$3 back then, give me 2/3 of a tank of gas, and
off you went.
just love those old Vegas. I need to find me another one, but
The only old Vegas I remember that were halfway decent that guys drove is ones they put the small block Chevys in.
yeah, that's true. Well, they're just not as plentiful as they used to be. They're really drying up.
You're right.
We used to crush them.
Yeah.
We didn't even recycle them.
The old Cosworth Vegas are actually still bringing some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of those are still rusted out around the windshield.
They
and
are.
I don't have any way to fix anything like that right now. So,
Well, we've got guys over at Denver Collision. Joaquin and the guys can do all that work. So keep that in mind in the future.
Oh yeah,
They can replace all. They can fix all. They got some good sheet metal guys. They can do all that.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks.
You're
guys.
very
I'll let
welcome.
you go.
Appreciate the phone call. Yeah, I should mention that too. Some of you guys are looking at some of those old cars and maybe thinking, well, I could do all of this except for the paint and body. Joaquin at Denver Collision, those guys could do all that for you.
Yeah, if they can fabricate,
They can make that work.
That's a big market.
I've seen some of the work that they've done where they've taken two cars to make one, literally, and made it work. Cut the floor plan out of one car, put it in another old car just to have the floor plan they needed, and off they went. Floor pan, not plan, floor pan, and away they went. So, all right, let's do this. Take a quick break. Your favorite car in high school. I've got a few more tips on selling your car. Anything you need, give us a call. You can also email us at john@drive-radio.com. So JOHN@drive-radio.com. One last favorite car from Phil. 1974 F100 short box 2-wheel drive Ford pickup with a 460. Why? Because I still own it. I graduated over 30 years ago. Does one of the shops still rebuild carburetors because it needs it bad? And the answer to that, Phil, is yes. We have many shops that could actually do that for you. They would be happy to. In fact, Dorsey Johnson, sitting right next to us here, would be more than happy to go through that for you. Not a problem on a 460.
Yeah, I'm rebuilding a carb on a 460 with a 1975 Ford pickup right now.
Yep, those are not hard to do. So I'm gonna respond via email and also tell you over the air, Phil, that he can do that. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Drive Radio, John Rush, Dorsey Johnson, AM 560 KLZ.
Napa know-how. Smartphone speakers. They're about as effective as chopping firewood with a butter knife. A rusty, dull butter knife. So pick up a wireless Bluetooth speaker at Napa for just $26.99. With a rechargeable battery, 33-foot range, and rugged waterproof case. It does the one thing your phone is terrible at. Play music. The Napa Bluetooth speaker. Now just $26.99. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 8/31/16.
When you've been in a fender bender or accident, you need to get your car repaired quickly by top-notch experts that know your car. Don't mess around with the cumbersome national auto body chains where you have no idea as to who is working on your car.